Papa Legba, Yeshua, Ilegua, come out, Papa Legba, Yeshua, Ilegua, come out, Papa Legba, Yeshua, Ilegua, come out. 'Cause this is our land. Yes, we was here first. They came here on a boat. They'll leave here in a hearse. They'll leave here through the dirt. They're going through the earth. We're channeling the ancestors to undo their curse. 'Cause once upon a time, we all could read and write. That legalese is lies. Strong men spell cursive ties. Strong men all caps disguise. They've gentrified our lives. We've redefined their sights. We've redefined their kind. Yes, this is juju music. This shit here is voodoo music. This shit here is voodoo music. When you chant, they gonna lose it. Yes, this is juju music. This shit here is voodoo music. Yes, this shit is voodoo music. When you chant, they gonna lose it. When you chant, they gonna lose. Which ancestor you gon' choose? Play their game, but by our rules. I'm Queen Annie the Maroon. I am Queen of Dongo. I am Queen of Zinga. I am Yenaga. I'm Carlotta and Fermina. 'Cause this is juju music. This shit here is voodoo music. When you chant, they gonna lose. Which ancestor you gon' choose? 'Cause this is juju music. This shit here is voodoo music. When you chant, they gonna lose. Which ancestor you gon' choose? 'Cause I am a goddess. I am a priestess. I chant these mantras and they all repeat it. If we make a promise, this land we gon' seize it. Get vengeance for Mother Earth treason. This for the gentrifiers. This for the gentrifiers. This for the gentrifiers. This for the gentrifiers. Repetition of empires. Invading land with gunfire. Slavery not posters for hire. Income not what you desire. Outcome working jobs for hours. Mindset waiting to retire. Never stop working for dollars. 'Cause this is juju music. This shit here is voodoo music. Which ancestor you gon' choose? When you chant, they gonna lose. 'Cause this is juju music. This shit here is voodoo music. Which ancestor we gon' choose? When we chant, they gonna lose. I mean, spirit guides come in with that sin. My ancestors defend. I got that juice to transcend. I mean, spirit guides come in with that sin. My ancestors, I got that juice to transcend. 'Cause I am a Santi, I am a Santa, I am a host, I am a homie, I am a Tamba. Yes, I am a Tamba. 'Cause I am a Santi, I am a Santa, I am a host, I am a homie, I am a Tamba. Yes, I am a Tamba. Yes, this is juju music. This shit here is voodoo music. When we chant, they gonna lose. Which ancestor we gon' choose? Hey, choose. 'Cause when we chant, they gonna lose. Which ancestor we gon' choose?
Mess with the wrong witch, and she knows it. And now you know it.
Hey, Sunshine Monet with the affirmations to enjoy your day with Sunshine Monet.
You are listening to Shadow Music.
I came through with intentions of destruction. You said you wanted freedom, well it's me then that you wanted. I moved in gratitude as my soul was being summoned. The consciousness has returned, Christ is really coming. I make these flows for the souls of Drish and Indigo. I make some goals for they glow since they was embryos. Access the records, they lectures, keep your principles. Enemies infect you, don't let them reach your pinnacles. Reversing curses that's embedded in religions. They wound up in your soul, that's why you feel tension. I'm remixing declensions before Sumerians existed. It's something in the water, don't get caught, you'll get acidic. I bury enemies, pay pinnacles to the witness. You say my name in threes, I appear in your vision. Write Iliads in me, I'm the witcher in your system. Silly as can be, there's no opposite in infinite. I'm the goddess of crossroads, touching all directions. With the skull and crossbones that cause to the vexers. I applaud the protectors. I'm the god of inflection. They see the demon in me and still pause the respecters. I need no translation, vibrating from universe. My throat mansplaining while my yoni do the work. Mask off, crowns on, bombshell on all the arts. Mask off, crowns on, bombshell on all the arts. Mask off, crowns on, bombshell on all the arts. Mask off, crowns on, bombshell on all the arts.
Enoch 7 prophet, move like the full winds do. My energy is useful, my thoughts are old school. So I move with a Bob Slim. Say I'm sexy, haircut like Anita Baker, real lovely. Caught up in the rapture, it's kind of risque. Kisses and faces on public is real frisky. Touche.
You are listening to Chakra Music.
Mask off.
Manifested by elements ethereal, I knew of terrestrial material, intertwined celestial of imperial, infiltrating corporation of oppressive serials. Resilience is something like a miracle, observing kinfolk and draconian material. The more equipped for ascension, the more one seems to be treated as inferior. Dr. Umar said, the white man's heaven here, the Asian man heaven here, the Arabic man heaven here. But the black man heaven fit. The black man heaven fit, cause it lies in death. Release from the karma debt, release from all the stress, release what we don't confess. In order to live, I guess we must be bodiless. Makes me wonder, if we made out of greatness most fit for this plane, then why we the most hated? Why we the most hated? Was I in court waiting for my sentence? Listening to a witness accuse me of unfitness to remain in these cosmic dimensions? Is that why we repent and we ask for forgiveness? The hours and days, they feel repetitious. Oppressive energy soaking up my minutes. Purple haze blowing smoke on my grimace. Another nobody traveling out of limits. Exiled from cosmos as penance. Or maybe this time it's just an intermission. Like Jesus' chapters that went missing. Traveling and gaining knowledge between the dimensions. Christ consciousness bringing me ascension. Kundalini flows up, now is where my intentions. So don't cry for me when my time is risen. Sing some praises, cause you know that I made it. And know you're all my extensions. Yes, you're all my extensions.
Hey, peace, y'all. Welcome to the Planetary Forecast. Today we're going to talk about the planets from new moon to full moon. And I'm getting myself together. So for those of you guys that's tapped in on Instagram, just letting you know, you guys are backstage. If you want to check in the front stage so you can see the presentation and all the pretty bells and whistles, head over to YouTube, Bless Nobody's page. That's where you'll be able to see the planetary presentation. But yeah, so we have like quite a few planetary transits this last week. In my mind, I kind of tried my best to sleep through it all. For those of you guys, it's your first time tuning in, I'm just going to go over what a chart is. Well, this is a natal chart. When we get into the planetary chart, it's where the planets are. All the planets have a special electromagnetic energy that they give off, and together they create an electromagnetic field. This creates an electromagnetic field over us individually as well as a collective. And it affects our personal electromagnetic energy too. I like to see it as like a whole bunch of little atoms just floating around, and our valence electrons is getting affected by what the valence electrons of the planets are doing, and the valence of electrons of other people that are also being affected by the planets. This level of energy awareness is really dope when you guys go outside, especially for my people that's led by the moon, and other planetary transits. Like I'm led by the sun, so whatever the sun is doing, that's where I'm at for the most part. And right now the sun just transited into Cancer constellation, so I'm like in this weird mix in between Cancer energy and the Leo energy, and my Leo wants to rise, but Vedic says not yet. So it is what it is. We also get into chakras here. If you guys notice that I do talk about, where the planets are in terms of where they're located at in our chakras as a collective. And so So you're able to like calibrate yourself by like really paying attention to the actual chakra that you're touching. And chakras are the wheel or the circle of life, and it's connected to your main energy centers. We also use these main energy centers under the guises of planets and numbers and deities and orishas and gods and goddesses and colors and frequencies and all this fun stuff. But essentially, it's all energy, and it's all energy within, and we project it outside of us with our ability to bend and fragment light and all this other cool magician type stuff we could do that we don't give ourselves credit for because we lack awareness of self. So here I try to help you guys gain awareness of stuff so that you guys can realize that you're really in a simulation and you control what's going on. So here's the interconnectivity of the planets, the colors, the numbers, the Sephiros, the Orishas, the Metu Neter deities, and the spheres and the tree of life. These are all those interconnections and how they're aligned with one another. As above, so is below. As within, so is without. News. Here, when we talk about the zodiacs and the planets that rule the zodiacs, I'm in alignment with the Kabbalah with it. Every planet rules over two zodiacs. You have a masculine and feminine side of the chakra. That's the zodiacs, except for when you get into the third eye. Now, the third eye is where we get kind of imbalanced here. And that's because you have just one celestial body ruling one zodiac, and then you have the other celestial body ruling the other. So you have the moon in Cancer, and then you have the sun in Leo. And those are the only two celestial bodies that only rule over one zodiac. And that's why those are so extreme, and they deal with the polarity, the inner outer self. We're talking about the third eye here. You can also simplify the planetary placements with just calling them elements. And then I also simplify them down to the numbers. We can get into the numerology of all of it as well. I have that notebook somewhere. Oh yeah, it's right here on deck. So I have the numerology of the planets too, and we could talk about that a bit today too. And it seemed like every episode I kind of expand on at least one thing. The last episode I got to expand on Jupiter and the 7 stages of life. The time before that I got to expand a lot on Pluto and the nines and the rise and fall of empires. So I try to expand something with y'all every time. So let's expand with the numbers this time. Also, just to let y'all know that the planets are in alignment with your body, as the houses rule over different parts of your body. The planets also rule over different parts of your body, and sometimes different ailments that you feel in different parts of self are kind of like a reflection of what's going on. Like, okay, being interpersonal, like me and my left side of my body, we always got issues, and that's because I have this weird relationship with my creative self and learning how to utilize it in a conducive manner. But whenever I feel myself being on the brink of speaking spells to suppress it, to do other things, bad things happen. So here we are. But that's my relationship. I've had incidents on my left shoulder. I've had incidents on my left knee, and now my left leg. It's a whole thing. Also, astrocartography is also something that we do here at oh well. Oh, I see there. I see what's happening. So astrocartography is also something that we do here at Less Nobodies. And with the astrocartography, it's like just how like the planets are around you during different spaces of time. We also have the planets were also across the map in a certain kind of way as well. So okay, I'm trying to connect certain things. So this lets you know what kind of like experiences you would be having across the map on different days and different, spaces and all that fun stuff. Excuse me, y'all. My bad. I'm multitasking. I'm trying to talk and think, and we're in Cancer, so I'm not really doing a good job with the multitasking right now. In reality, I just want to go inward. I just want to go inward and sleep for 30 days. Um, All right, I'm where I want to be now. I promise. But that's what we got in the astrocartography realm. That's the map. So this is the model that we use, but not entirely the model that we use. So like you have the heliocentric model where you have the sun in the middle and the planets rolling around it. Now, if you paid attention to like the theme song that I play, when you're looking down on the planets, you'll see them moving in this manner too, some higher than others, going down and down. And so that's kind of like the model that we use here. Like we're looking down and seeing the domes going around each other, some higher than others, as we go into the descending and ascending nodes of the different planets. Um, how their orbits interact with each other and collide with each other. And if you're looking down, you see the thousand petal lotus. So that's where you get the crown chakra from. So as we like align all of our chakras, on all the different planes around us, but we're still gaining awareness of the different planes around us. So we're not even there yet. We still trying to get Earth right. We still don't know everything that's on Earth yet. But once we get that in tune, more firmament will reveal itself to us, and you'll realize the interconnectivity of all these domes in this plane and be able to rise the vibrations as a whole, thus, fine tuning or, remixing the song, the universe of, the cosmos that we know that we're within. So I love to use this model now. So for those of you guys who don't know, I've been doing the planetary forecast for many, many years now. But when I first started doing the planetary forecast so many moons ago, I was on a mission of trying to figure out where Earth is, because when you do like astrology and astronomy, you never talk about Earth, where Earth is. It's always, oh, these planets are doing this and this planet in comparison to the Earth, da da da. And that's where we mess up at, because we're only willing to acknowledge everything in relation to Earth or Sun. It blocks us from opening up our mindsets to the other firmaments around us and how they're interconnected to us. But that comes around. It's the same thing as you walking around always talking about your sun sign. Oh, I'm this sign, I'm this sign, I'm this sign. Okay, but what about your other planets? What about the other parts of your algorithm or your electromagnetic energy? You don't put that in consideration. But then as you start studying it about yourself, you'll start realizing it, right? And as you realize it, then you'll start seeing it in other people, places, and things and ideas, and you'll start to attract other people with the same realizations. And then you'll feel the difference between the energy of those who have those realizations and those who don't. So all that to fast forward to, I finally figured out how to figure out where Earth is, y'all. And it was a whole bunch of wordplay. It was very tiresome. But the wordplay about it be like they tell you where midheaven is. And so when you find out where midheaven is, that's like the center of our sky. So that's essentially telling you where we be. Somebody cue DMX for me, please, in the background. Thank you. So this is specifically the model. Peace, y'all. That if you're on Instagram, letting y'all know y'all backstage, so y'all don't really get the fully. In fact, let me get the camera off me. How about y'all just look, and then y'all realize that y'all backstage, and then y'all make it front stage on YouTube. How about that? There we go. That way y'all know y'all backstage, and this is what it looks like front stage. But yeah, so the way the sun is set up right now, sun has just entered Cancer constellation. So on the Vedic chart, with the sun being in Cancer constellation over Hinder, that means that the earth is in the Capricornus vibes. And we're talking about the Vedic chart here. So as the sun goes further into Cancer, you'll see the earth moving towards Aquarius, Pisces. Now, on the tropical chart, it's a little different, because tomorrow around 10 o'clock in the morning, the sun is going to enter Leo zodiac, right? And so when the sun enters Leo, then we're pushing the earth towards Aquarius, Pisces. So we're a little bit more forward in our movements with the tropical versus the Vedic. For those of you guys who do not know, the difference between the tropical and the Vedic is called the Ayana Masa. And at this moment, it's a 24-degree difference. Mind you, it only takes 30 degrees to get to the next zodiac. So that just goes to show you how much of a difference there is in the tropical versus the Vedic. And I love that, because as above, so below, as within, so is without. News, right? So news is that you start to realize this about yourself too, because the tropical is all about your indoctrination. The tropical is the program, how you think things are supposed to be because of how you were raised or the different things you learned or the different interactions. That's all tropical shit. So you think I think I'm supposed to be a Virgo in all these different realms of myself. That's how I think because that's how I was pruned to think. Listen, I need a whole motherfucking therapist couch for my upbringing. Shit is real. But it makes sense. Like, okay, this is what it bred me to be. This is how I think I'm supposed to be. This is how I think things are supposed to be. But when you get into the Vedic, you get into your actual vibration of things. This is your emotional self. This is where your emotions lie. And then y'all know I also do the draconic readings, which I absolutely love. When we do the draconic readings, we're talking about your truest self. Now we're talking about your soul. And I do love to get in people's souls. So, getting into the zodiacs of other cultures, I need my literature so I can expound on some things because we have a transit happening, and I always catch these in the midst of a transit. Wow, where is my book? Oh, I know where it's at. I think I know where it's at. It doesn't matter. Anyway, so we know that in the Egyptian zodiacs, we are divided into, instead of it being 4 seasons with 3 zodiacs per season, is actually 3 seasons with 4 zodiacs per each season. So every time you get into a new season, you feel stable and complete. I like that way better, and we talked about that. I like that way better than having 4 seasons and locking myself into a year and then always feeling incomplete each season, because 3 is creation, but where's the stability? You know what I'm saying? So, like, with the Egyptian realms, how they did it backwards or inside out. Well, we're doing it backwards, inside out. I like that. We're in the year of platinum if you're into like alchemy and the way those cookies crumble. We are in the year of platinum. This is the year of 7. Social and business exploration is on the front. And we see that everybody's, build your own business. You got to have 25 LLCs, and, everybody's getting certified on social media. Used to be for college kids doing schoolwork, and now it's a place of business, and you got to get verified and all this stuff. And it's a whole thing, but everything is about social and business right now and intertwining the two. Design and fashion is a big one on the forefront, and we saw that heavily in the beginning of this year with all of those different things. What was it? Balenciaga and affiliated, fashionists and stuff like that coming out with different information. And fashion is definitely taking transformations. It's the whole thing. I don't really care about it. This is not the year that I care about. As far as the West African zodiacs go, we're in the year of the judge. I mean the season of the judge, excuse me. And that's from July 5th to August 4th. And this is a good time for exercising listening and understanding important and primitive desires. It's a great sense of duty and a good conscience, great mediation, willpower, drive, authority, initiative, and action powers. So this is like a really dope like alignment of like Leo and Cancer energy intertwined, as far as like, really going within and thinking about your primitive self and your primordial waters and your primordial firmament of self, and then utilizing that to come outward and use that fire energy. So it's a nice little yin and yang of water and fire going on there with the judge. The woodpecker. Now we're getting into native indigenous over here on Turtle Island realms, June 20th to July 21st. Today's the last day of the woodpecker, which is why I was looking for my booklet, but I don't feel like grabbing it right now. But that will tell us what the next one is. But y'all find out tomorrow at the astrological update. But today we are in the last day of the woodpecker, and this is sensitive and protective streak, caring in nature, can be a virtue or a vice, nurture yet hard to let go, and can smother. So be careful with the smothering in this cancerous energy, where everything just wants to be hugged and deserves a nurturing space. We are in the year of the rabbit, y'all. The year of the rabbit started on January 22nd and will be going on till February 9th. And this is a space of intuition and inner peace, patience, luck, and prosperity. Just thinking through things prior to acting out and all that fun stuff. Okay, so let's get started. Now, in this part of the segue, let me get a timestamp, y'all. We are in 24 minutes. So we starting in 24 minutes. Bet. So in this part of the realms of things, we talk about the chakras as a collective and where the placements are on the chakras as a collective. So we start with the root chakra of us, and you can make this on the root chakra of you. You can align this information with your personal chakras. You can align this information with the chakras of individuals you reside with. If you're very familiar with the planetary placements of the chakras with other people you're around, this will definitely be essential in energy exchanges. I personally have been getting into it heavily with my kids. Well, I'm not as much with them as I have been by myself, but I'm gonna include them back into it momentarily. I just, you know what? I don't really like to talk right now. I do a majority of my talking on the podcast and doing the music. And then after that, I don't want to say nothing. I kind of want to be quiet. But yeah, I gotta shake that off. Anyway, so yeah, root chakra. Let's do it. And then also, like I said, we get into the astrocartography things. You can talk about the root chakra of where we are on the map, like the different countries that's ruled by Saturn and stuff like that. So yeah, Saturn. Getting into the numerology of Saturn. Saturn is a 112395, and we add up to the 3. And I love that because Capricorn is associated with third sphere on the tree of life, which is the energy of manifestation and creation. Gang, gang. And then Saturn is starting off with the number 11, which is about self-mastery, but also the 11 comes down into a 2 for balance. So you have that self-mastery and that balance. You come into the 2 for the balance. We're creating with it, retribution with what we create, and we're bringing it to the community. So you got the 112395. That is the story of Saturn that brings you to the 3. So right now we have our 3 sitting in Pisces energy, and Saturn is in retrograde at the moment. So with Saturn in retrograde, you find yourself repeating degrees in the space of self-mastery, right? Mastering the different creations of retribution, karma. We know the story of Babylon, especially if you guys were present in Sunday school or Sunday service or whatever. The last couple Sundays, we talked about Babylon the first Sunday, actually. And we talked about how this was the god of retribution and disease and famine, but also health and healing, right? Because you can go one or two ways. And that's why you see Ophiuchus the way you see him, and you see, Capricorn energy the way you see Capricorn energy. So it could be healing or it could be hurtful. And it's all about, what you're doing. What are you doing on your side of the scales? As we know, these scales that Saturn is in, the 7th house is the Oba scales. That's a strong house. Babylon loves to walk around with them Oba scales. And in the light of the fact that I've been watching Kai Zodiac on Do the Knowledge Radio talk about the last dragon on and on and on, let's talk about how, Show Enough was going around challenging everybody to kiss his Converse, the god of retribution. And if I don't like the way you respond to these scales, I'm gonna kick you in your face, bro. You ready? That's the realms of things. That's what Saturn is doing. Saturn is repeating degrees for y'all to see the different manipulations that's been going on in your 7th house. 7th house does not only deal with like one-on-one and interpersonal relationships, but 7th house also deals with bonds and contracts. So, and then, Saturn also deals with authority, right? The authorities. The people that you having, like, if you're not the person that creates groundedness, discipline, and order in your life, and you've given that to someone else, then this is probably what you're going through in that realms with them having control over your life. So a lot of the manipulations and the deceit and all of that stuff is being unraveled in your realms, to where you're starting to see the balance scales for how they're supposed to be seen. And some of you guys are learning to detach from those scales. Like, wait a minute, these scales ain't even really that real. Like, how real are these scales? Let's talk about it. So some of you guys are choosing to detach from those scales because, like, you're seeing how unreal the scales are. And a lot of, like, whenever I think about this, I think about the government. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I think about the government. I think about the first contract that we had when we got here, which was the birth certificate and the social security number. And you see us repeating degrees and undoing the things. Also undoing undoing a lot of the simulations of delusion and stuff that was created not only in the government but in the news and Hollywood. with the Federal Reserve, all that stuff coming out with the Titanic, it opened up the dialogue about how we're actually still in Noah's Ark. And that was something that me and Danielle talked about in the first, what was that, the first season or the second? No, it was the second season of Virgo Virgin Talk when we talked about Utnapishtim. And I know I butchered the shit out of his name. I don't care. Y'all know what I mean. How he built the ark, when the land was flooding. But we didn't, but who's to say we got off the ark? We could still very well still be in the ark floating through water right now because we are surrounded by water, are we not? So that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But that's essentially like the different kind of vibes you will feel and you'll experience and you'll see in your phones and on the news and all that. As within, so is without; as above, so is below. What's going on in the stars. You'll see the repeating of degrees. Now in your interpersonal relationships, I don't know about that, but if you guys are in some relationships y'all know you ain't got no business being in, you're gonna start catching karma that you have no business catching, but because you won't let go of that relationship or that bond or whatever, you're gonna keep catching that karma. I'm glad that I let go of my karma. I'm trying to let go of everything as quick as possible. Now, in the Vedic chart, our Babylao is still in Aquarius. So, you find your vibration still learning how to detach. But Aquarius is also in alignment with self-knowledge, right? This is the first sphere in the tree of life when you're like all in one and one in all, right? And you see the 11 and 18 next to it. So there's a sense of mastery there. Still bringing 11 into the 2 for the balance beams. 18 is, being a pioneer, a cardinal energy, and also being, in your solar plexus with the energy, bringing retribution when you're to yourself with the solar plexus energy. 8 being in alignment with Pluto, transformation and rebirth. That is the retribution, is the transformation and rebirth. But with that, things have to die. It's a part of the game, y'all. And this is in the 11th house over here. So that's social awareness right there too. Your friendships, your partnerships, your vibration is starting to detach from certain people, places, and things that you thought was cool because you're starting to catch the karma from those things. But now that you're starting to have like this better sense of self-mastery and balancing things in your root chakra, it's going to call you to start attracting more people that's in alignment with that energy. Now, if you're not doing the work, then you're going to keep attracting the reflections of retribution on the other side of things. Like I said, Babylao can either hurt or heal. It's up to you, though, what Babylao does. Now, we don't have any, major celestial bodies in Aquarius. Don't worry. Few episodes to come, I have been unlocking the Kuiper belt with the asteroids and things. So give your girl some time. I got you. We're going to span real soon on the firmaments. Now, on the masculine sides of things, where we have like the internal, energy exchanges going on, we have Pluto sitting over there. Pluto is that energy of Oya giving us the transformation, the death, the rebirth, tapping into our solar plexus chakra with the vibes, all that fun stuff. And we have it at a very difficult degree. It's at 29 degrees, y'all. This is a very difficult degree for something to be in. However, it's the energy of self-mastery. So if you make it past the 29 degrees, it's cool. Pluto is also repeating degrees as it does every summer. So we are dealing with the 6 months of retrograde. Pluto will be going back forward in November, where it will spend the rest of the time in Capricorn until, what is that, like voting season, November 2024. Then we'll be really locked into Aquarius. Now, the last time that Pluto was in these degrees playing this game was in 1776. And we know there's a lot of stuff that was going on in 1776. And if you don't know about it, let's talk about it. We talked about the root chakra being established for America as we know it. We're in it's been 401 years. So we're going into the number 5 with America right now. Last year was the 400th year. So with Pluto going in this space, you find yourself, Pluto dealing with the rise and fall of empires and nations, right? So we dealt with the rise of this nation. They came up with the terra nullius, the nobody's land law around this time. The colonists started taking over things. We also got into the establishment of racism started in 1775, 1776 with the studying of the different kind of skulls on different parts of the world and stuff like that. And now they made it, racism, the scientific name that everybody's buying into. And this is the basis for a lot of the nations and the empires that we have today. They're based on racism. They're based on the conquistadors and the colonists. And they're also based on the the terra nullius, the nobody's land clause. Because even in spaces that this corporation that y'all keep calling the government, even in these spaces that they reside in, they still have their, what is it, the BLM, so like, I didn't build no houses here, I don't do no business here, but I'm gonna make sure that my organization still sees over this forest over here or this lake over here. Like, they make sure that they have their hands on top of every piece of land, whether they're residing in it, doing business in it or not. They just made sure they assured the ability to walk in and interrupt whatever the fuck you doing. But this all comes back to like you being in control of your root chakra instead of you falling back and allowing other people to be in control of your root chakra. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Are you creating transformation here? Because if you create transformation here and you repeat these degrees and go back to your solar plexus and really empower yourself and let the underlying structure that someone created for you go on and die off how it's supposed to and rebuild your own, success is here because we're in the 10th house with it. And you'll feel that it doesn't necessarily got to be like, oh, here's $1 million, because when you think about it, the $1 million is also a rise and fall of another empire outside of self as well, because those aren't our ancestral dollars y'all be over there praising. I ain't seen not near one of my ancestors on any of these dollars out here. But yeah, so that's what we're dealing with the transformations. Hold on, that's a good idea. The midheaven is also here. Remember, I told y'all I was on a mission finding out where Earth is in relation to the sun, and we talked about that already, about the midheaven being in that Capricorn Sagittarius area. Regarding whether you looking at the if you're looking at the Vedic chart, we're in Sagittarius. If you're looking at the tropical chart, we're in Capricorn. So the 10th house energy deals with the successful self. How do we see success right now? And then the tropical chart, how we think things are supposed to be. Of course, we see success as power and having an underlying structure and taking control of things. We're still looking at the same, indoctrination that was given to us about what power looks like, what discipline looks like, what structure looks like. These were not things that we had primordial in the primordial viewing of self. These are the things that were fed to us. But it's okay, y'all, because Saturn is going in retrograde. I watched this really good video on TikTok. It was an elder. She was speaking on how, what people are looking for in relationships is changing. And I see that, and we're going to talk about that more, especially when we get to the Cancer and Leo side of things on this chart. But she was saying how like women ain't looking for the men that got the cars and the flying and we looking for the men that can hunt, that can fish, and are good with their hands. Are they an electrician? Are they a carpenter? Can they heal? Can they garden? Can they build a house? Can they fix things? Could you build a car? These are different questions that are coming into play. And that's because we're dealing with a transformation in our root chakras. The empire that was built into our root chakra as a collective is falling apart. It's falling. So now there's a rise of a new one. And the new one says, hey, we're being present with the modern way of doing things, but we need to bring some of that primordial aspect into it as well. Because, us just being sitting up in this realm of everything that was about business is not doing us. We just out here being consumers. The manufacturers have been getting ignored and disrespected and disregarded to the point where they don't want to be manufacturers anymore. We're running out of resources. And I'm not saying we're running out of resources as a planet. I'm saying that this particular structure is running out of resources. This particular structure is being drained. So you have to make a decision. Are you going to be your own root chakra, or are you going to allow your root chakra to continue to be controlled by a system whose resources are being drained? Now, God's resources is rooted in abundance. There is infinite there. In Genesis, he had to tell the firmament to chill the fuck out because it wouldn't stop growing. Okay? So, where I get my root chakra from ain't the same place y'all get your root chakra from sometimes. I be seeing that. So where, and you'll see that because people are still allowing this current indoctrination sit in their root chakra. They have the mindset of poverty. Everything is less than, everything is lacking, everything is scarcity. Everything is a competition. I have to have more than you instead of completion. Now, when nature is in your root chakra, when you got the nether roots in your root chakra, it hit different because there is no there is no poverty or scarcity here. It's just abundance and expansion. Like I was telling y'all before, the more you realize, the more will expose themselves to you, because you are in the womb. And if I say let there be light in the womb, the light is going to come. So that's just a matter of what you want in your Pluto, what you want in your midheaven, and, and who you letting control it. But we're gonna move it on up. So when we get into the sacral chakra, this is where your being is established. This is where you get your luck and your wisdom, your joy expression, your creative self, sensual sexual energy, as well as your generosity is sitting here. Now, as a collective, the Jupiter always rules over a sacral chakra. We went over Obatala in the last Sunday service. Y'all can check that on YouTube. We'll be going over the sacral chakra again this Sunday in Sunday service. 2 services per chakras for obvious reasons. But in this realm we got Obatala. Now, let's talk about Jupiter. Let's get into the numerology, because I told y'all we was going to talk about numerology today. That's how we're going to expand on the planetary forecast today. So Jupiter is 1379259, and that adds up to 36. So this is complete. This is creation, creativity, sensual, sexual energy. 3 and 6. If you let 3 and 6 live their best life without a 4 or 2, they gonna go crazy. You hear me? Because that's just straight like creative energy. And we know that because if you overindulge in your sacral chakra, y'all end up with a whole bunch of addictions, STDs, y'all in the AA meeting. Now you got to go to rehab. Listen, I'm going to need you to chill out on the sacral chakra. Now you got diabetes and high blood pressure. These are the things that happen when you let your sacral chakra rule you. Okay. This is what happens when it's overactive on a physical level. 3s and 6s. Y'all need 2s and 4s, especially for my Sagittarius risings and my Pisces rising people. Y'all is ruled by this planet, so y'all need stability. Y'all need to be near some 4s. Go outside, put your feet in the dirt. If that's the closest you can get to a 4, let that be what it is. Because having a 3-6 and allowing that to add up to 9 goes to show you when you are overactive in the sacral chakra, what happens is retribution almost instantaneously. If I eat a whole bunch of sugar, what happens? My stomach start hurting. If you eat a whole bunch of sugar over the course of 9 months, you get super ill. Over the course of 9 years, now I got diabetes. I be telling my sons that all the time. Everything you do right now is going to affect you 9 years from now. Yeah, you still feel optimal health right now, but 9 years from now, when you in and out the doctors, you're going to be pissed. So chill, be present and chill, but that's the numerology of Jupiter. I really like that we're getting into numerology. This is nice and fitting. I'm here for it. Anyway, so the 9s is in Taurus right now. So that heart chakra, the vibration, what you're attracting, what's beautiful to you, what's lovely to you. We are aligning our sacral and our heart chakra together. The rose-colored glasses is really thick for some of y'all, and you just gotta know when to switch up the prescription. That's all. We on a 12-15 with it, so you're learning how to be autonomous and independent and stand on your own 2 feet and really be grounded and structured with the energy. Bring balance with it. I just gave y'all a whole spiel about what happens when you got this 3 and 6 into the 9 and you don't put no 4s or no 2s in here. Okay. No worries, because Saturn is here. Damn it, Saturn. Saturn is over here in retrograde, repeating degrees, and make sure y'all know this is what a 2 and 4 looks like in between a 3 and 6. Get it together. Okay. But you got the 3 and 6, and then you got the 3 and 6 right here too, because you got the 12-15. So that's 3 and 6 right there too. It's in the Taurus. So not only are you getting that karmic retribution energy here in the sacral chakra, you're also getting it in your heart chakra. So you'll find that a lot of things that used to make you feel good, a lot of things you thought were beautiful, and also in how you used to obtain your wealth and things like that, it's not doing it for you anymore. And the more you study, the more you align yourself, the more you meditate, the more you go inward, the more you read books and stuff, you're going to realize, it's going to come to your real eyes what's happening here. And that's where the transformations come back into play in our root chakra. We gotta come back to who's in charge here. Is it you, or is it society? Is it you, or is it the economy? Is it you, or is it capitalism? Is it you, or is it the media and entertainment? Is it you, or is it Hollywood? Who's in charge here? Especially in your sacral chakra. Who is in charge here? For a lot of you guys, it seems like Hollywood is in charge of y'all sacral chakra. If Hollywood says it's bad or it's good, now all of a sudden it's bad or it's good. You got to check yourself and who has authority over your realms. It's important. So, we get into the space with the sacral chakra, it's in Taurus. So we're aligning our sacral and our heart chakra together. We're in the ninth house with it. So, coming back to the idea that, once you start studying, it's going to bring, transformational beginnings into your space. You got the 16 there and the 55 in Aries. That's where the ninth house is. So you're bringing it to a 7 and back into the 1. I love that. And then it's 8 transformation, solar plexus vibes here. And you do feel empowered. I will say that I be feeling empowered when I show myself a certain level of discipline in my sacral chakra. Like, oh shit, I went to the store. I got an opportunity to go to an apothecary. I was able to get my mushroom stuff, and now I can make smoothies instead of, I felt really good about that. I had made my own smoothie instead of going to Wawa and getting a coffee smoothie. That was empowerment to my solar plexus chakra. I felt good about it. Asking people around the house, like, hey, you want to try some? Different stuff like that. You do feel good when you find a balance here and you start to empower yourself with the knowledge of that balance. Now, in the Vedic chart of things, we have, our sacral chakra, our 3, 6s, and 9s going through a new beginning in that Aries, 1 and 7 and 11. A lot of self-mastery here happening amongst you guys, especially you guys who have already been diagnosed with the retribution of overindulging in your sacral chakra. Those of you guys have already gotten diagnosed with diabetes or high blood pressure or an STD or some of y'all, contracted children, some of y'all in debt, just different things that you have, contracted because of your overindulgence in your sacral chakra. So, new beginnings in that space as you guys learn how to pull yourself out of it, whether it be, learning about different diets, different, workout routines, learning about herbal medicine, learning about how to treat your body, learning how you're the temple. Some of you guys going back to the Bible, which is beautiful. Some of you guys going back to the Torah and Talmud, the Circle 7, the Quran, and reading it with a different set of realize. And all of that is beautiful and definitely much in alignment with this Jupiter in Aries. It's going to create, new beginnings to your pleasure-seeking self. Neptune is over here on the feminine side of things. So we have, your subconscious, your dreams, your secrets, the hidden things, the Akashic records and stuff. And that's sitting at a 2 and 7. So you're finding like the balance here, the Libra scales here with, your spiritual self and your physical self as we go into the 3 and 5. All right. And then, 3 and 5 equals age transformation once you find that balance. And that's a good time. We love it here. And Neptune is also in retrograde doing its half year retrograde for the summer. And we'll see Neptune going back forward again in like December-ish. And then it's in the 12th house with it. So like Neptune is in its home house. It's in its home space. You'll feel, your subconscious and your dreams getting stronger and stronger to the point where you can keep ignoring your dreams, especially my water babies out there. I don't recommend you keep ignoring your dreams. That's a wild choice to make right now. But your dreams are definitely leading you to the realms of your Akashic records. You see a lot of spiritual awakenings happening right now in this space and time, as Neptune has been in this energy since I want to say 2012. And it's going to remain in this energy for another couple of years. So you got space and time here to, I won't say catch up because it's not a race. We're not in competition here. But it's still for those of you guys who have been in this realm for quite some time, you guys are going to be needed, as there's a lot of spiritual newbies coming into the realms and they're going to need guidance. And you see all this nonsense happening on the different websites and things. Yeah. Neptune went into Pisces February 14th, 2012. And will remain there until 2026. So you got 3 more years of it. All right. But yeah, it's bringing, those that are already in the spiritual realm, those already in this dimension doing the work and stuff like that. You guys are going to become the teachers to the newbies. And as they become the teachers, you become the principals. And as they become the principals, you become the board of education. And it just keeps going and keeps flowing and elevating, et cetera, because that's what Neptune deals with. And as far as on the Vedic chart of things, Neptune is in Pisces at the moment. Neptune just entered Pisces not too long ago. So we have that, that alignment. I always think about it like the rings in Captain Planet, when a planet goes into its home zodiac and its home house and it's locked in with the Vedic chart, that's major spiritual awakening happening to us as a collective. And that's so beautiful to see as we're in this cardinal and in this mutable, energy as a unit. I love to see it. Now we have Saturn. We talked about Saturn already. Neptune. Oh yeah, just to remind you, Neptune is the fives. So we're dealing with humanity here. This is 5 5 7 2 3 5 5, and we come into a 3 and 2 creation with a balance, and then that brings you into a five. Five being the number of freedom. Five is associated with an air energy, moving about. It's a certain level of intellect and knowledge. It's a great place here. We love our fives. And then we talked about Saturn being our and Saturn being in the space of and Pisces as well with the five. In fact, what is Pisces? Pisces is 791 351. So Pisces is actually 8. So we have that 3 going into an 8 and retrograde. So the creation and transformations, we're repeating the degrees of creation and transformation. I like that. That's really dope. And then we're repeating the degrees of 5, which is our freedom, going into transformation, our adventure like self, intellect going through that transformation, and all of that sitting in, the fourth sphere with the tree of life, the divine blueprint of things. So cool. The part of fortune is also here. Fortune is pretty self-explanatory, but this is the cross marking point of the solar and lunar ecliptical. And right now we have the fortune pace. It's at 1124, which is cool because that is like a mastery number with the 11. It's still bringing the balance of the 2, and then we have another balance of 2, and then the stability of the 4. 2 2 4 8 transformation realms here. And I talked to y'all about that already with there being a transformation and how we have Jupiter in Taurus. First of all, there's being a transformation or a new beginning, and what we see is fortune or abundance or valuable or wealth. It's more so what you are capable of doing with your hands versus these pieces of paper someone gave to us and said, hey, this is what you guys use now, as we see Pluto making those transformations in the root chakra, and that's fun. So now we're going to get into the solar plexus chakra. The solar plexus chakra, this is where we get our willpower, our power from, our self-esteem, our courage, our confidence, energy, all that fun stuff. And that's ruled by Mars. Now, Mars is 4191. So we got stability into self as well as like karmic retribution into self. And that adds up to 15, that autonomous freedom, like, I love that. That's like a nice circulation type thing because Mars is associated with Aries, which is heavily in the new beginnings of spaces. So yeah, this is like, stability with the retribution type of energy here. And that's kind of what you want to achieve here with the solar plexus is stability. And be able to manifest with your solar plexus as, the sun above us manifests a lot of things with those sun rays, as above, so below, as within, so without. News. Coming back to the concept of news, and it's adding up to the 6. Again, I told y'all 3s and 6s can be very, very difficult spaces if you allow them to be very, very difficult spaces in the realms of creation. So right now we have Mars sitting in Virgo. Mars entered Virgo not too long ago. It was this past week actually. This was one of the transits that we had experienced. It entered the Virgo zodiac on July 10th. So we have, our solar plexus, which is our power and willpower, being in alignment with that energy of servitude. Also, self-management, time management, scheduling, being observant, intellectual realms. Agriculture is big on the forefront right now. This is a good agricultural placement for those of you guys that are into gardening and stuff like that. The sun is here for you guys. And it's in the 5th house. So it's in the Leo house of dramatics and attention, the inner child workings here. How can we serve our inner child? How are you guys letting your inner child be free, and you're nurturing that energy, etc., etc.? Now, when we get into Mars on the Vedic chart, Mars is still in Leo. In fact, it just entered the fixed energy of Leo. So we're in the fixed sign. So you'll see Mars and Regulus starting to dance right now because Regulus is the fixed star in the Leo constellation. With this energy, Regulus brings on the vibes of like, riches and, the little prince star, being a royal sense or whatever. And so we have circulation happening there. So by you putting yourself in this space of servitude, assisting others, being, self-management, time management, scheduling, just really tapping into that Virgo energy, agriculture, all that fun stuff, is going to bring you to a space of success, in your vibration. Tap into the Virgo stuff in your mind, your vibration will be set on the regular star of things. And we're applying this to a sixth house. So it's going to affect whatever it is that you're trying to attract, that's going to affect you on a daily basis, on a regular basis, or whatever. Over here on the feminine side of your solar plexus, we have Aries. We have Aries over here. Now in the numerology realm of things, Aries is a 7. It's actually associated with 2 and 5. So we have that balance with the freedom energy here. It's like, wait, Aries over here for the balance. Scorpio is on the other side with a 5. It was with a 5 as well. But yeah, so the 2 and 5 come together and make 7. This is celestial energy here. We got 19951. So, being standing on your own 2 feet, being independent, that energy of retribution is there, karmic energy is there. We know the story of Ogun. This is the enforcement of law. Those are 9s. I don't know if y'all know that those are 9s, and they will take away your 5 if you're going against them. So, that's in alignment with those numbers there. We have Chiron over here transmuting your wounds into a superpower. And so how you transmute those wounds, if you're going through the work of transmuting those wounds, is coming with the degree of 19, which is born knowledge. A lot, the more you learn about the basis of those wounds that you're going through and the different stuff you got going on, the easier it'll be to go through it. Now, for me personally, being interpersonal, it's just a realization that a lot of things are simulations to my vibration. And with that level of realization, you're able to overcome certain things. For some of you guys, it's just a matter of learning how to re-identify with different things that you keep labeling as a trauma. A lot of challenges came to you in your space to exercise your ability to overcome certain things. And that's essential. And it's kudos to you guys for being able to overcome all these different things. On the Vedic chart, on the Vedic side of things, we have Chiron still sitting in Pisces energy. So with Chiron sitting in Pisces, we got Chiron going in retrograde too. That either happened, I think that's happening today or tomorrow, but we'll get into that later. But yeah, so Chiron is still in Pisces energy. So a lot of the wounds is derived from, all the stuff that was going on in your simulation. Pisces energy is the energy of the gullible. It's the energy of the manipulator and how the waters have been manipulated. And, all of this shit going on around us is just light reflecting on different layers of water. So as Saturn and Neptune is down in the sacral chakra, uncovering all the different illusions and delusions that have been created with the light reflecting over the water, Chiron is up here a lot of your wounds came from y'all seeing things the way they wanted you to see them instead of seeing things for how the fuck they really are. So now we gonna bring it to you, and it's in the 12th house, so it's in the space of your Akashic records, the hidden dreams, the secrets, the hidden enemies. A lot of stuff is gonna come to you in your dreams, whether they're dreams that you do when you're literally asleep or dreams that you find yourself having when you're daydreaming. Either way, it's still going to be, different messages and things that come to you to show you how much stuff ain't really what you think it's been. And this whole time you've been walking around hurt. And I won't say for no reason, because it was for a reason. You had to walk around hurt to get the strength that you have now. But you don't got to keep walking around hurt. Long story short, you don't have to keep walking around hurt. Now, your Aries is the primordial goddess. Aries is she's further back than Pluto. In fact, when I started getting into the expansion of the firmaments in my planetary forecast, you're gonna realize that we got a lot of firmaments that's past Pluto. I don't know what everybody beef is with Pluto, but when they found all the other firmaments back there, they was welcomed into the planetary club. So I think we keep going to war with Pluto. Somebody over there keep pissing NASA off or whatever. But getting into Aries is the primordial goddess. This is the divine feminine energy. This is like the Lilith energy, if you will. Aries is the direct mirror of Aries. Aries did not come from the rib of Aries. No, Aries came from the direct soil that Aries came from. These two energies are completely the same. Just one is more internal and one is more external. So it's really dope that you have Aries sitting in her home space of Aries. It's a dope vibe to be in, giving us new beginnings in our primordial feminine energy. And this new beginning started in 1925. And if you think about what was going on in 1925, that was the beginning of like the suffrage movement, when women started fighting against like the working conditions, because women didn't go to work because that's what women wanted to do. Like, let's not skip over a whole piece of history here. Women were forced into work because the government has sent all the men out into the armies and the militaries, and they were dying. America has been at war since it's been on this soil. There's never been a time of peace with this corporation over here. So while they were losing their men and sending their men everywhere, they had to put somebody in the spaces of manufacturing, because they still had to make money. They had to get their money back somehow. So they're like, okay, well, the women and children, since y'all home, y'all got to go to work. But they didn't care about the conditions that they had these women working in. They didn't care about the conditions they had these children working in. So it started different, accidents and incidents were happening. People were, dealing with the, uncomfortable conditions. They like to shed away or turn their backs on the fact that these women and these children were getting abused in these workplaces. Like, it wasn't like, oh, we just came to work and I hit my finger. No, these women would get smacked down to the floor too. These kids was getting smacked down to the floor too. Like, it was a lot of things going on. So it's only righteous in 1925 Aries entered Aries, and then we already had the things going on in the 1800s. And when I get into the expanded firmaments, you'll see the different asteroids that affected that as well. Because Setna, she another one. She ain't come here to play neither. But 1925 is when Aries wanted to lock in on things. And we've had the feminine movement, and yes, rightfully so. There's always been a pushback on women realizing, hey, we came from the same soil, because the realms of patriarchy is, oh, we don't want Liliths, we want Eves. I want someone from my rib, not someone from the same soil as me, but I want you to operate like you from the same soil as me. And anyway, so this happened since 1925, and this will keep happening. Aries will stay in Aries until 2044. Now, Aries just entered the Aries constellation about a month ago. It ain't been in Aries constellation too long. In fact, that happened on June 4th. So we got like a good 100 years with Aries. We got another 100 years with Aries and Aries on the constellation tip, y'all. So I think that's beautiful and very promising, that the feminine energy is just going to keep rising. And to have, like, I haven't really been paying attention. Well, yeah, I have been paying attention. It's been a lot of, I know that there was like this trending thing with everybody breaking up. Of course it was, I don't really be paying attention, but I be paying attention. This is like different feminine energies on the internet that like people follow, starting to have certain realizations, different breakups happening. Of course, women getting beat down for embodying the Lilith, embodying the Aries energy, because for some reason men think that when we embody this energy, we're going to start attacking y'all and eating y'all alive. But that's not what's happening. We don't want to do that. We gave birth to y'all. We just want some level of recognition and respect for what we do, so that we can sit on our throne comfortably without feeling like we got to do what y'all do. And I don't speak for all women. I speak for women like me. I've learned not to speak for all women, because some women do want to eat y'all alive, and that ain't none of my business. But that's the energy we got going on over there. The ascendant energy is also in Aries. And then it'll be moving on to Taurus shortly. So what the ascendant energy is every 2 hours is a different zodiac rising above our horizon. And this is actually how you tell the time. So from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m., so between the last hour of night and the first hour of the day, we have Aries energy. All right. Aries is that initiator of the day, which is cool, because like, Aries is one. And so now we're starting, we start. But after time goes on, because everything is so oblong and nothing is exact 360 or on that level of perfection, slowly the ascendant changes over time, like every 2.5 days or so. The actual ascendant rising each day changes. So eventually it'll go into Taurus, by the full moon that we have happening on August 1st. We will be in a Taurus ascendant. So we'll be, our last hour at night and our first hour in the morning will be on the pentacles. It will be on the heart chakra. If you find yourself awake during those hours, you'll find yourself feeling those kind of emotions that are sitting in your heart chakra rather than the emotions that are sitting in your solar plexus chakra. And that's what we have there. Now, in the Vedic chart of things, we have the ascendant rising in Pisces. So, that was the zodiac. But what constellation do we have rising with the zodiac is Pisces. So Pisces is rising with Aries, all right? And then we'll have Aries rising with Taurus. So new beginnings to your subconscious. We talked about that when we went over the sacral chakra. The true node as a collective. So the true node is the direction that we all should be walking in. This is the lunar pathway. Like, I don't want to call it like a lunar ecliptical because that's a mislabel, but it's like it's the pathway of the moon, and this just talks about the direction that we should be collectively walking in as a journey on our mission. And right now it's at a difficult degree. It's actually at the 2929, which it gets no more difficult than that. But it's in retrograde, so it's repeating degrees in this Aries energy. Aries energy is all about renewal. It's about the warrior like energy. It's about your strategies that you can come up with, like that very intellectual warrior, all that fun stuff. That's the Aries energy. In the Vedic chart, we're in Aries energy with it too. So, the collective is calling for a new beginning. You want a new beginning in your aura, in your temperament. Yes, this calls for like a lot of awareness of the different wars and battles that we've been going through, and everybody standing their post and learning about where they're supposed to be at, with the new beginnings, with their warrior like energy. You know, Mars was in, Cancer Leo during the springtime. So while Mars was up there in those positions, that was, perfect time. Well, it's still in Leo right now in the Vedic chart, but that was perfect time for you guys to go inward, go into your third eye, check your Mars while it was next to Pallas and Lilith, and really pay attention to your simulation and the different things that were triggering you to move or motivating you or putting ambitious energy into you. And those things that you realize that was really doing that for you, that'll help you as Mars goes into Virgo, because that's what you're supposed to be harvesting. That's what you're supposed to be giving life to. Oh, I realize, my Mars is in Gemini, so I realize like my realms in communication, teaching, learning, reading, those aspects. Those are things that I really want to keep focusing on and flexing on. My palace is in Virgo. So, still being in that space of servitude. I really like to teach. I would like to I've been having these different dreams and things like that about how to expand myself in that realm. I'm just trying to, I don't know, as I remove, this indoctrination out my root chakra, is giving me a blank slate on how I can like achieve the teaching realm. However, the 3D realm has always been a comfort zone for me. I ain't gonna hold you. Anyway, let's get into the heart chakra. So the heart chakra is where your self-esteem is, your love, wealth, wisdom, compassion, your empathetic self, your ability to forgive, universal love, interpersonal love, self-love, all the love. And right now our Oshun is sitting in the third eye vibes of Leo. It's at a 28 degrees, so it's in that mutable space, getting ready to enter Virgo energy. I love it here because my Venus is in Virgo. But the Venusian energy. So, your love is being on that loyal energy. Leo is also associated with love, as Leo also rules over the fifth house, the heart chakra energy in different realms, especially when you get into the Kabbalah of things and the Netaru's and the circles and of the tree of life and stuff like that. So you have Venus somewhat sitting in like, a space of love, desiring love, wanting love, yearning for love that is of no stranger to anybody. Be mindful, like, because for every energy there's an equal opposite energy. So I will, being frank with you, I'm very aware of the equal opposite energy as well. Our indoctrination is coming from social media in this generation, because we have the the certain placements. You know, these individuals that birthed us in the hospitals and stuff, they have knowledge of the statistics of, you know, births per planetary alignments. So, you know, while the indoctrination is still on the television programming of news, the for our generation, the programming of news is on social media. So you have a lot of this social media stuff telling y'all to shy away from love. You don't want love. Everything is a solo opportunity, or, you know, you're supposed to go by yourself or do it yourself. Isolation. You know, the gender war thing is happened crazy right now, which is wild. Because, you know, genders is another social construct, whereas your actual sex is your vehicle that you're in. So you should be able to honor and respect the manual. That's like, I'm telling y'all, I don't have a Toyota because I don't want y'all to see that I have a Toyota, because Toyotas, the social indoctrination of Toyotas is so fucked up that I want to walk around and act like I got a different kind of car. But at the end of the day, when I pick up my user's manual, it's for a fucking Toyota. You know what I mean? So that's like the muddying up of the genders and the sexes, and it's a lack of education there. It's just a lack of self-love going on, and the love and overstanding and empathy for other people and compassion is falling apart in those realms because of the news indoctrination on those black mirrors. Coming into the fact that we're at a very difficult degree with Venus and Leo. So, you know, you'll see a lot of pushback. It will probably be a couple of news stories that come out that are very effective on the gender war scale. And that's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Anyway, Venus is in retrograde. Venus went into retrograde yesterday, in the morning, because everything just kept happening in the fucking morning. Venus went into retrograde yesterday, and it's gonna help us repeat the degrees of actually, no. Is it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. Something happens on the 24th. I don't know why the 24th just snuck in my head, like, but we'll get into that later. But yeah, Venus is repeating the degrees in the Leo energy, just, you know, making sure y'all ain't miss no corners, like those couple people in your life you ain't let go of yet. Yeah, we're gonna repeat those degrees. Let go, you know. It's like the end when Rose let go of Jack's hand in the water. Just let it go, you know. You had no intentions on putting that person up on the door with you any fucking way. So, you know, that's what the repeating the degrees is gonna do. You're uncombing all those things, and not just in the love of others and compassion of others, but also self. Like, how have you been loving yourself? You know, especially as the sun is just entered this Vedic, you know, Cancer energy, which is not just about creating safe spaces and nurturing space for other people, but how have you been nurturing yourself? What kind of safe space have you been, you know, manifesting, you know, inward, outward, all of that, you know, for self? It's important. So that's what we got with the Oshun sitting in Leo. And just so y'all know, Venus is a 9. So we give birth. We got a little knowledge going on here. As you know, Venus also deals with wisdom energy. 45531, which comes into an 18, you know, that autonomous pioneer cardinal mastery energy of the transformation. So you want to master the transformations of the heart, because the heart, it fluctuates, right? You know, you're dealing with the heart lines. The heart lines go up, down, up, down, up, down. Sometimes in between the up, down, it goes, you know, straight, and then it goes up, down, up, down. But you always want the up, down, up, down. The up, down lets you know you're alive, and that gives you a better realization of life. You need the up, down, up, down, up, down. That reminds you that you're alive, that you're in this vehicle, that you're still in this life, that you're still on this plane, that you're still on this firmament. You figure, you look at all the firmaments from sideways, you'll realize they're all up, down, up, down. You ever look at a human body sideways? You know, people make jokes like, oh, you look like the letter P, or you look like the letter, you know, D, or whatever the fuck, but it's still the up, down, up, down, up, down that shows you a sign of life. You know what I'm saying? So that's the realms of that. So Venus deals with the 9 on that. Lots of retribution. Retribution does come from the heart, as your heart does create the vibrations of attraction and the vibrations that attract the simulations, and so on and so forth. We have locked in Venus into Leo on the tropical as well as on the Vedic chart. You know, Venus will probably go and move back into Cancer for a little bit too while we're in these retrogrades. But right now we're in Leo on both sides. So, you know, that strong yearning for the connectivity, Really meditating on the kind of relationships that you want in your life, as Leo not only rules over the heart chakra and loyalty and love and things, but also rules over the masculine side of the third eye chakra, which is where you're actually experiencing your simulation. That's where the sun is reflecting off the lights in the water, right? That's the simulation here. What is the sunlight doing? How is the sunlight bending? How are you receiving it in your eyes? That's the connection between Venus and Leo. Now on the feminine side of things, all the internal workings on your heart chakra, we have Uranus there creating progressive change, and Uranus is the mm, 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 mm. Why did I do every planet but Uranus? That's wild. So Uranus is 3, 9. Let me hold on. Let me write it down while I'm talking to y'all because I can't believe I did that. Uranus. It is 3, 9, 1, 5, 3, 1. And that adds up to 12, 13, 18, 21, 22. Ooh, it's a master. I love that. Progressive change. We got 4 here, stability. And Uranus has been in Taurus since 2019, March 2019. And we know that was the beginning of us going on punishment because they started putting stuff in the air, whatever, what have you. And so, but you see like the big progressive change that has happened in our heart chakra and our vibration, how we vibrate to one another. A lot of us have, fully engulfed ourselves in vibrating virtually only, where some of us have learned how to vibrate more in the physical, in a way to escape from all the virtual vibrations. Same thing with the wealth. The wealth has changed tremendously. Once upon a time we only had like 1 or 2 cryptocurrencies that everybody was sticking their nose up at, and now we have the government creating their own cryptocurrencies. Now we have corporations developing their own cryptocurrencies. We have thousands of cryptocurrencies to the point where there's a forex chart just for cryptos. Anybody could come up with a cryptocurrency. A 17-year-old came up with Ethereum that started the kickstart of NFTs. That's how easy and how common it's becoming. That's the progressive energy of Uranus. I tell people all the time, I cannot wait for Uranus to enter Gemini. All that telepathy that everybody's trying to speak into existence, that's what's going to happen. It's going to be a lot of telekinesis, telepathy. I can't wait to teleport. Like, there's going to be a lot of things going on. Now Uranus is still in Aries energy on the Vedic side of things. So while we're in creating progressive changes in Taurus, is to wipe the slate clean with a renewal with the Aries energy. We want all new things. So this is what I be telling y'all when y'all be wanting to take old concepts and just remix them. Nah, we not here for a remix because the remix will still require the same old mindset and the same old practices. We don't want a remix. We want we want renewal. We want new things, a new way, a new mindset, new actions, new behaviors, new. That's what we're doing here. Now Jupiter is, we talked about Jupiter when we were talking about the sacral chakra and how it rules over the sacral chakra, and it's, creating the generosity and the optimism and the wealth and all those great things that you're looking for, right? It's in Taurus, so we getting all of that energy on our sacral chakra. We're getting the vibrations going towards our sacral chakra. As far as what it is that your heart wants to attract is going to bring you joy. Whatever brings you joy, your heart's going to want to attract. Now this is cool. This is the trial and error of life that we have to learn how to appreciate and how to embrace. This is the beauty of life. This is the beauty part of life, because in this realm of life, it's like you get to attract whatever you want. I want a red BMX bike, and I want it to have cream tires, and I want a basket on that joint. I want some headlight. Like, this is what I want. I manifested this joint. I see it giving me joy. I did the whole secret. I did the 10 spheres on the tree of life when it came to manifestation. I did the whole thing, right? And then I get the bike. And then I realize, I don't really want this bike. It's too short. It's too small. I think I want a mountain bike instead because the different circumstances around me have changed. Can I get mad? No, because I manifested this bike. Like, this is what I wanted. But now that I got to experience it, I realized that's probably not really what I want. I kind of want something else. And instead of moving like you're upset about that, or you're traumatized, or nothing goes my way, and oh fuck it, and fuck all bikes and all that, instead of doing all of that, say, you know what, this is the beauty of life. I did a trial. It was an error. Now I get to do another trial. Now let me be intentional with something else, something different I want. I don't think I want an electric bike. My life has changed. I got hit by a car. I can't bend my knee all the way like I could have with a BMX bike once upon a time. So I need one of them electric bikes where really don't have to bend my knee that much. Okay. And I need that. I want purple. I thought I wanted it red. I didn't really like that red shit. I need it in dark purple. And you start having those kind of dialogues or whatever. That's important. And that's the beauty of life, and that's how you learn how to move in gratitude, regardless if you're in trial and success or in trial and error, because either way you're in control. You know what I'm saying? Now, while you're doing all of that realizations and lining your sacral chakra and your heart chakra together and being progressive with the energy, now we're going to move on to the actual experiences and outer energy exchanges that we'll have as a collective while we're collectively doing that inward work. And we're dealing with Ceres here. Now, Ceres is an asteroid that deals with agriculture. All right. This deals with how you nourish, how you nurture, and how you need to be nourished and nurtured. And right now we have Ceres sitting in Libra energy, balancing the scales. You need reciprocity, boo. Reciprocity on your wellness, health, wellness, and daily routine and management and servitude. So while I'm giving you acts of service, I require acts of service. This is bringing forth the mindset of bartership in certain realms of wealth. As the Venusian energy also deals not only with the heart chakra of love and empathy and compassion, but also in the realms of wealth and business. And Oba specifically deals with the contracts and the bonds in business. So in those spaces of business, it's like, being more intentional with how you spend your coins. Is this really serving me? Is this going to help me better myself? Is this really nurturing or nourishing to me? Am I nurturing or nourishing, or am I harming by investing in this business, investing in this opportunity, investing in this person, etc., etc.? These different conversations are starting to come into play more than what they were before. And then also, like I said, bringing bartership into play, because how how can we have like an equal level of reciprocity? I'm gonna admit to y'all, sometimes when I'm doing these readings be taking me a whole week, because some of y'all energy is so strong, and some of y'all pay me for readings that y'all don't really want. So I have to go through all this energy that y'all putting out there while y'all waiting on y'all readings. And I'm like, damn, $100 is not enough. $50 was not enough. $20 was not enough. I need you to come cut my grass. I need you to come cook me a meal, because that's what you got in the middle of. I could like, I need you to come make me some smoothies for a week, because that's what doing this reading is getting in the way of. Like, that certain kind of mindset is starting to come to the forefront of things now. Bartership is here in alignment with Ceres and Libra, as well as it being in Virgo on the Vedic chart. So you'll see those conversations happening more so, especially as Ceres starts to make its way towards Scorpio realms into the solar plexus. Then people will be more confident in asking for the bartership. But for now, right now, this is where we're at. Don't be scared to speak up on it. Sunshine Monet L barters. I don't care. So now we're moving into our throat chakra of things. The throat chakra, of course, is ruled by Mercury, Eshu, Eshwa, Legwa. This deals with our expression, our communication, our invocation, integrity, our moral code. We're dealing with the ethers here. So Eshu, or Mercury, let's talk about Mercury. And I'm going to do the numerology with the Reese's as well. But Mercury is 4593397. And this adds up to a 400, creating space before with the stability. So stability in your space. That's why Virgo energy be like, and that's why Gemini energy be all over the place, and they require the four, So while one has too much of it, the other one doesn't have enough. And in some type of way, they like balance each other out. But yeah, you got this 459. So you got this, the 4 is invocation. 4 is stabilizing and creating and materializing and all of that. 5 is in that energy of freedom, that breath, that comes with the invocation. Okay, 9 is the retribution. 9 is the karma from you putting that 4 and 5 together. 3 and 3, what did we create here? What has been created, and what will the creation do? Creations always do something. So 3 goes into the 9. And y'all, just to remind y'all, this is all celestial work with the 7 at the end. All this to say, what you speak comes into existence. Okay, you are in charge of the ethers. The throat chakra is the ethers. And the throat is not just like the speaking realms, it's also your hands. You write, right? You sign language, right? You can chisel into a wall, writings, markings, right? It also deals with our neck, ears, ear, nose, and throat situation. If you got a lot of mucus build up in there, fix that, because that means that there's a blockage happening in your throat chakra as well. Now we got Mercury sitting in Leo with our heart chakra. So we have our heart and our throat sitting in some fire, and we love it here. Ain't nothing wrong with it. While they're sitting there with each other, you have, that level of invocation on what you want on your heart. This is a beautiful time for invocation on what makes you feel good in your sacral and what you want to vibrate to in your heart chakra. This is also a beautiful time to realize you are in control of your simulation. This is your world. The world is a stage for you. All these people out here is players. How big is you finna make their role in your space? That's up to you. If you making somebody's role bigger than what it's supposed to be, to the point where your spirit is irritated, then baby, you not writing the script accordingly. Fix it, director. Fix it. But yeah, this is just a reminder of just that, because like I said, Leo not only rules over the heart chakra and the balance being between your higher and lower self, but Leo also rules over the solar side of your third eye chakra, which is how the light is reflecting over the images that you're creating inside your eyes, which is beautiful because Venus is in Leo right now too. Venus rules over the eyes, Leo rules over the light. How are you reflecting the light in your eyes to create your simulation? And is it to your liking? Those are different conversations to have with yourself, especially with the sun sitting in Cancer, zodiac, Leo. It's sitting in the Leo zodiac Cancer constellation energy. It's a beautiful time to have a conversation and realization about your contribution to your simulation. All right. And Mercury is sitting over here too. Mercury is like, hey, I'm in Leo's Cancer too. So what's that? And this is also a direct telephone line between spirit and self into your simulation. So with this can go two ways. And I want y'all to be careful out there, especially if y'all out there letting anybody and everybody read you in your charts. This can get dangerous because some people have a lot of jinns about them. And with their ethers being in between the tropical Leo and the Vedic Cancer, it can create a dangerous ground for them, especially if they open themselves up to the jinns around them. I be telling y'all readers, stop offering readings just to anybody. Y'all gotta interview y'all clients, just like the clients should be able to interview you too, to see if y'all energy match. It's not so much about you being good or bad at your job. Some of y'all should not be mixing with all of these energies, like a water baby doing a whole bunch of fire and air readings and not doing a lot of earth readings. That's a lot. There's an imbalance there. So you have to be able to balance out these readings that you're doing. Like, hey, I did 2 fire readings this week. I ain't doing no more fire readings this week. I could do an earth reading or I could do a water reading, but I definitely can't do air with all this fire I just did. And I'm coming because a lot of y'all be doing the mixing the readings and mixing the energy with your energy and not paying attention, and then your energy become off, and now you burnt out, and now you trying to figure out how to reconfigure your stuff, and you blaming everybody else. But this is your simulation. You created this. Be responsible. Then you got these people calling people out because they don't fully understand the workings of what a goddess does when she does readings. So now you fake readings, you this, you that. No, we're not. It's people that have powers that haven't fully honed in on their powers, and they just doing anything because they are in this new business with the same old employee mindset. I don't care what your energy is. I have a money goal. I have bills I got to pay. I need to make this amount of money a week. So I'm going to read anybody and everybody. And I don't care if it goes right or wrong. I don't care if it's in alignment with my energy. I don't care if I read too many fire people and a bunch of air people and not enough earth. I don't care about none of that. I have a money goal. I want to get this house, this car. Da, da, da. You're in this new realm with the same old indoctrination, and you're going to hurt yourself. You're either going to hurt yourself or somebody's going to put a spotlight on you, and they don't have full overstanding of what you got going on because they're a reflection of you and your lack of overstanding. So now you got a group of people with a lack of overstanding, all reflecting you and your energy. And now you got a whole bunch of people commenting on your statuses to confirm or deny whether or not you a shitty reader. And you got to take responsibility for that because that's the simulation you created. All that to say, y'all be careful out here, especially you readers, because you guys are in the middle of the crossroads with y'all ethers. And y'all got to be careful with how y'all treating y'all ethers and y'all allowing people to treat your ethers. Now, on the feminine side of internal workings of things, we got Vesta over here. Now, Vesta is all about your passion self, your Vestral fire. What gets your fire going? The fire is in the ethers, y'all. Y'all got a lot to say. Y'all got a lot to download, and y'all got a lot to upload. And it's cool to get the downloads all the time, but work on uploads as we're preparing for Uranus to enter Gemini. So that Uranus entering Gemini energy is what's going to help us when we start doing the tell us stuff later on. All right. And be mindful of what you're putting back up in the ethers. Like I said, with Mercury, Venus, and the sun being straddling between the left and right side of, our third eye, this could be a great thing, but this can also be a hurtful thing if you're not utilizing it correctly and you're opening yourself up, because there's so many energies and jinns and stuff around you that want to be brought to life. We call them down here intrusive thoughts. We say, oh, these intrusive thoughts, they're making me do stuff. They make me think crazy things. They, And especially now with the Cancer sun, you're going inward, the intrusive thoughts is louder, and they can be emotionally invoking with Venus straddling between Leo too, right? So now they're emotionally invoking you, they're mentally invoking you, they're affecting your sacral chakra, all this stuff. Some of y'all is giving in. Some of y'all giving in to the jinns. So you want to be careful here. This is a space where a lot of stuff want to come into the physical, and they mad that you made it and they didn't. So some of them are going to try to ride you and try to ride your vehicle. Especially a lot of y'all walking around, y'all don't even want to own the vehicle you riding around in. You over here calling it something else. You want to deny your vehicle, but it's a whole bunch of jinns and energies that's about to ride your vehicle for you. And you see that. You see that happening. People, I made a mistake. I wanted to be something, and now I want to know my true self, and I can't because I let all these jinns and these energies around me. Now I'm depressed. You see all of that happening. That's all I got for you in that realm. That's all I got for you in that realm. But just be careful who you communicating with. Be careful who you're building a community around. A lot of you guys, your Vestral fires is firing for the village, that Gemini energy of the village, and self-mastery has to come here first. That's why you see Vesta at the 11-6. So before you create the village you want to create, you have to find some sense of self-mastery and understand and overstand the fact that you are the leader. Whatever energy you project, whatever you got going on inside of you, that's what you're going to see in your village. That's the Vestral fire you're going to attract. So you have to ask yourself if this is something that you really want, and if it's not, then it's not. Don't force it. Now, on the masculine side of things, like we did all the internal work, now we coming on to the outside. We got Mars over here motivating and circulating our energy. All right. Mars is being the motivator. Mars is also the aggressive trigger, right? The ambitious energy to get you going. So you got the Vestral fire going on in the inside. You know who to communicate with. You've been communicating with yourself, your desired energies. Vesta is also in Taurus energy on the Vedic chart. So you got the ethers in alignment with the vibrations of your heart. You're doing the work. You're doing the work, right? You had it in your second house of possessions, your fourth house of nurturing, and your third house of communication, right? That's all Vesta. So now on the outside in your energy exchanges, you know what? It's going to be people who test you. It's going to be people, places, things, and situations that try to trigger your ambition, trigger what gets you going, trigger that Vesta fire. And it's going to be people that's going to try to burn that Vesta fire out. Like, you know what? When you find yourself moving in your passion, that's when you get laughed at the most. You can go back to the Bible and read the different Bible stories of the individuals that tapped into their Vestral fire, tapped into the burning bush, tapped into that mind, that ether within, and allowed themselves to be open to the spirit of God or whatever angel they was talking to or whatever demon they decided to talk to. And once they did that and they let that energy in, guess what? They was immediately tested, immediately triggered. I'm trying to do all this shit for y'all, and y'all combating me. What's up? But this also gives you knowledge that you need on strategy, on how to move around. Okay, it's motherfuckers like you that exist in the world. So now I know how to move around you. I know how to move about you. We're dealing with the fifth house here. The fifth house is being ruled by Virgo energy. Pay attention. Think. Observe. Overanalyze if you got to. Write about it in your journals. you know? A lot of this energy that's coming triggering is coming to your inner child, because when you get that vegetable fire burning, you'll see yourself come back to your childlike self, your childlike energy of gratitude, of wonder, of appreciation. And you remember how you was a kid and you was having the time of your life, and then here come an adult trying to embarrass you for being uninhibited with your happiness, like, ooh, why you laughing so loud? Or ooh, why you so happy? Ooh, you being so extra. Da-da-da. Yeah, that's that Mars. That Mars gonna come to you. And they're gonna try to put a muzzle on your joy, or put a muzzle on your pain. How about that? How about some of that vegetable fire you got burning is to settle some scores? And then you got some people that try, hey, don't feel that way. You shouldn't feel that way, or you shouldn't think that way, or oh, that's just how such and such is. It should be okay. Nah, fuck that, bro. Fuck that. So, while you got those different triggerings happening, just know that you're the one that's in charge of your simulation and what you got going on. You're the one. You the one. We got Palace over here with Mars. Palace and Mars has been hanging around a lot of each other lately. They've been traveling with each other from Cancer to Leo, and now they traveling to Virgo together. And they've been about like 1 degree apart from each other, like nonstop. So that's cool that you have your motivation and your strategic mind sitting beside your genius qualities as you keep overlooking at yourself. Because say this Mars energy comes to you and tries to muzzle you or try to shame you or whatever for tapping into your vegetable fires, right? So then Palace is the aha moment. Palace is the realization, like, wait a minute. Do you see how you just handled that situation? Do you see how you just rose above it? How you still did your own thing? How you still was like in your own shit? Do you see how like how you strategized, how you transmuted that energy, how you was able to transmute that conversation or that energy exchange? Did you see those different things? And that's Palace coming to you. Palace is that hindsight after the dialogue. Oh, you just had that Mars energy exchange. Now let Palace come in and explain to you, narrate a little bit. It's kind of like was that music video with Dr. Dre and Eminem when the shit was going down, when the different Mars scenarios was going down, and then the Palace came in between Eminem and Dre explaining the different scenarios this situation can go into and why they could go into these different situations. That was a really dope creative song. But that's essentially what happens here. You have these different energy exchanges and they can go different ways, and then they're in Virgo. So it's in that overthinking energy that, shows some level of consideration. Like, okay, we can think about it this way, but we can also think about it that way. So that's what I got for you there on the throat chakra. Now, last but certainly most not least, we got the third eye chakra. This is the command beyond wisdom. Now we're talking about the motherboard here. On one side of things, we got the sun or Heru. This is, dealing with Leo energy, Odu Mila, the sixth sphere on the tree of life. This is maintained through coordination and balance. That's what I'm telling y'all about the light. We're just dealing with how the light is coming through the water, and how your eyes are set up is how you are choosing to refract the light. And the fact that we've come to a collective agreement with what the majority of the light is doing, that's why we all can collectively, virtually see almost the same things for the most part. But then you have different differences with different people's prescriptions and eyesight, how well they can retract and refract the light. Color blindness, all that fun stuff gets into the details. The devil is in the details. Then on the feminine side of things, you have the moon or all set. That's dealt with Cancer, your Moja energy. Now this is the it's like the reflection of that. So yeah, this is what the sun is doing. This is how you're reflecting and doing all the light situations with the sun. And then this is how the moon is reflecting that. And news says, because as above, so is below, as within, so is without, right? News says that, down here, if you get into Yakub and all of that, you get into the sun people and the moon people, we have the mislabel of appropriation. Oh, you're appropriating our culture. Not necessarily appropriation, more so as it is reflection. Do you like the reflection that you see? I don't really care for the reflection that we see in the levels of appropriation because y'all really picked the most ghetto shit y'all could to imitate. Why you couldn't imitate the scholars or the scientists? Wait, once upon a time they did, right? Once upon a time, it was, we called that, what was that, whitewashing of history? Hey, you stole over all of our history and put your faces and names on it. Yeah, it was fucked up on the human side of things. But when you think about what the moon does to the sun and all the other stars it's next to, it basically just reflects. I just reflected what you did. So y'all came up with all these sciences, the astronomy, all the maps. Y'all was doing all the wars and conquering each other's lands and shit. So we reflected that energy. Now we the artists. Now we the writers. Now we the scientists in the schools. Now we're the military. Now we the colonists and we taking over the lands. Now we the 13, 14 tribes. Now we got the banners and shit like that. It's a reflection. They constantly reflecting our light. So if you want the reflection to change, you got to change the original light. If you want the original light to change, you got to change the reflection. It's kind of like a chicken and egg type thing, if you will. But news, that's the news. The news is the moon is just reflecting what the fuck the sun is doing. Okay. Now, when you get into the moon side, because I want to do the internal side of things all set, we are in we started off in Leo. Right now, today, what's today, the 21st? We are in Virgo. We're in Virgo moon in the 5th house with it at this moment. So we're in that space of overthinking. Oh, look, I always pick a good time to do stuff. We're in the Virgo moon, y'all. Yay. In the 5th house with the Leo house. So cool, because I'm a Leo rising. So I got the Virgo sun, Leo rising, gang. That's where we're at with it. So the moon is currently in that space of thinking and learning and teaching and being of service and thinking about how you're going to implement different routines and stuff like that are going to affect your health and wellness and how you go about your day and doing things and stuff like that. And that's a vibe. The moon, by the time we get to the full moon will be in Aquarius in the 11th house. So a lot of social awareness of your friendships and your different bonds and the circles you're in, the social circles you're in and stuff like that, and how well they've been benefiting you or if they've been in the way and stuff like that. All of that stuff's going to come into play. Now in the Vedic chart of things, we have, I want to say that the moon is still in, Aries went in retrograde today. Let me stop jumping ahead of myself. Anyway, so on the Vedic side, we'll have the moon starting off in Cancer. More so it's in Leo right now. And it will be ending the new moon. The full moon will be in the Aquarius zodiac as well as the Aquarius constellation. So that's pretty dope. We'll have that full awakening enlightenment in our Alsar, Alset, Sango energy. That's the zero sphere, rooting us back into the cosmos of Maya. So hopefully that's the vibe that y'all get come this full moon, because that's the vibe that's coming for y'all. But yeah, Yamoja is all about awareness of depth of being, learning, healing. We're dealing with the nice sphere, the tree of life, which is the worldly events in the divine womb. Like I said, we got the sun here. And now we have the sun on the Vedic chart here as well. So we have that double awakening about going inward, nurturing and nourishment, maternal energy. For me, it's healing my maternal wounds because my Chiron is in Cancer. I hate it here. And I want to say my Pluto is in the 4th house. I forget. I try to ignore those parts of myself. But it's dealing with your emotional self, your maternal wounds, and the wounds that you feel in home and within family. That's my personal stuff. Some of y'all just coming into space, especially my water babies. You might find yourself more open this season, more open to downloads, uploads, speaking the spirit, having messages for people. Please do not hold your messages that you have for people. If you're walking past somebody and you got a message, give it to them. You are a conduit for the waters right now. And then with the sun entering Leo constellation yesterday, you'll feel like a lot of fire with the water. So if you find yourself suppressing the water energy that you have to offer, a lot of headaches, tiredness, fatigue, all that stuff is going to come into play. So, don't suppress yourself. Don't congest yourself in that realm. But yeah, this is really about creating nurturing spaces. This is really about like, what do you need in relationships to keep them going? A lot of you guys are having realizations about certain elements that you haven't been receiving in certain relationships that, you know, you either feel good enough to speak up about and elevate that, or it's just like, just let this joint go. And I know for next time, I want my vibration on what I deserve. Your Juno is also here giving off the same energy, because Juno is about bonds. Juno is about what you need in a bond or a relationship. So pretty much just came a walking on what I just said. I won't repeat myself. Juno on the Vedic chart is in Gemini. So again, this is going towards your communication. You got the 20 there, 2032, bringing a balance to the communication, getting into the numerology of, you know, the sun. The sun is 135. I talk about 135 a lot because I'm sunshine. But the 135 is like the autonomy with the creation and the freedom that's created with that through the divine womb of the nine. And then you know, with the moon, Cancer energy being associated with the moon, you got 4665. So you got the stability with the creation and freedom. So that's why I say like the moon really reflects what the sun is doing, because the moon is a 3 while the sun is a 9. It's not even a big reflection of what the sun is doing. That's why you'll only see the moon only reflect a little piece of what the sun is doing. And it's usually only reflecting the piece that's getting the most attention from the sun, right? Or whatever other star is nearby. It's only going to show those bigger pieces. It's not going to show the whole thing. And that's why you got to be mindful of what you give your energy to, because that's what's being reflected in the moon. Now we get into the Leo side of things. We're dealing with Heru, which is the sun, the will, courage, discipline, upper, lower self, sixth sphere in the tree of life, maintained through coordination and balance. This is the celestial government administrating. So we have Lilith here with the triggers here, the primordial triggers. We talked about Lilith earlier on, you know, when we was talking about Aries and things like that. But Lilith is here to show you, you know, what was initially in the simulation to begin with. And it's kind of like being past and present into moderation, into modern realms of things. So it's like, oh, okay, I know my primordial self, you know, I'm suppressing these different elements of my primordial self. All right. And you'll see how it's being reflected in your simulation. Now, is that suppression benefiting you? And if it is, cool, keep it going. But if it's not, go on and switch that joint up. That's what the 2-in-1 wants you to start working on. You know, some of the primordial energy that you came into this plane with before indoctrination happened, some of that shit was here for you to have. It wasn't here for you to get rid of because of indoctrination or the different quote unquote traumatizing events or the mislabeling of challenges or exercises for your strengths. You know, those things didn't happen for you to learn how to suppress. Those things happen for you to exercise those muscles and get better at maintaining them. That's what happened. And Lilith is straddling between the Leo and Cancer energy, so it's on both sides of the brain. So it's going inward, and your inward energy, the different things you suppress from yourself to yourself. There's a lot of different ways that you haven't been a safe space for yourself because you think that you don't deserve to give yourself that. And it's showing on the outside of things. Like I said, the moon reflects the light, the sun. The sun is also, you know, showing what the moon is doing. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you know, inward, outward, inward, you know, we can't debate about what side of the brain came first. That's a silly debate to have. The brain is here, period. So, like, let's balance these scales between the left and right side so that they both reflect each other accordingly to what you want to see. Like I said, this is your simulation. It's up to you. You know, you have so many planets really straddling between the Leo and Cancer energy for you right now. You know, tap into them, take advantage. That's what the summertime is for. Recalibration before we get into the harvest, because whatever you do now is going to determine what goes into the soil later. All right. Venus is also here. Venus is just locked in on Leo on both sides, on the tropical and the Vedic side. So you have, you know, your vibration sitting here on the light, on the courage, and the sixth sphere, coordination and balance is happening on your heart chakra, on your vibrations and your attractions to the things in your simulation, which is cool. Mercury is also here with the invocation of things. We talked about the ethers through and through, and how the ethers are slowly starting to enter Virgo, which is dope because my Mercury is also in Virgo. So I'm gonna have my Mercury and my Venus return, gang gang. But yeah, you have that energy happening there. I don't think that they're going to lock in together for me this year because Venus finna go in retrograde, and as soon as Venus go forward, Mercury go in retrograde. Oh, so I might get my locked in. We'll see. um, but yeah, Mercury is all about the ethers, and now he's speaking things to an existence. You as you start to learn the control of your simulation, you'll be able to, abracadabra shit, and you'll start to see that, what I abracadabra and what I allow the light to touch on my stage, that's what's coming into fruition. So here, Mercury also rules over your patterns, your moral, ethical code, as well as your decision making mind. So you have a decision making mind out here. What is the question here? The question is, what are you willing to put? What deserves the spotlight on your stage? What gets the spotlight over here? Where's the light reflecting? How you bending the light on the stage? What kind of scenes do you want to be seen? And what scenes need to get written up out of the script? So that's what we have over here in the third eye, bringing you back to the mindset of we here in a simulation, y'all, and you are in control. You feel me? And it's a good time. It's a good thing to know you're in control. It's important to know you're in control because that's how you get to rise above the different things that's going on around you. Like your energy was brought to this plane intentionally to, help you exercise and rise, not for you to stay stagnant in it and keep it going and blah, 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 blah. So now we get into the third eye chakra things. The third eye chakra is not associated with any physical body. The third eye chakra is the consciousness, thoughts, and wisdom. So as we get all the physical chakras in order, it comes out the auric body. And then that's when we start dealing with the higher, chakras or whatever. And that's a good time. So I want to get into, so let's timestamp 150. So we have 24 and then we got 150 back. So now we're going to get into the Kabbalah and the Neteru readings of, the places that we're going into. So the Kabbalah, we do not study astrology so that we can learn how to draw up people's horoscopes. On the contrary, the purpose of Kabbalistic astrology is to rise above the influences of the cosmos and take control of our own lives. Gang, gang. The zodiac sign in which we are born and transmits to us all the negative and positive traits that we will need to affect our own transformations. However, the signs of the zodiacs are not because of our personality traits. They're actually the effect of our personality traits. Our karma from previous lives is what determined which sign we needed to be born under in order to acquire the necessary traits and attributes that will allow us to correct and transform previous negative activity. The zodiac is merely the mechanism that the soul uses to ensure the particular qualities are infused into it at birth. That's why I like to get into draconic, because the draconic lets you know who your soul is, while the tropical and the Vedic lets you know what your tools are. So the patriarch Abraham was the first Kabbalistic astrologer about 3,800 years ago. He wrote a book known as Sefer Yetzirah, the Book of Formation. Contained within it are all the secrets of the universe, including the knowledge of astrology and cosmology. As we delve into the Kabbalistic astrology, right away we find one significant difference between it and conventional astrology. Kabbalistic astrology uses different calendars. While the conventional astrology is based on the solar or the Gregorian, Kabbalistic astrology is associated with Hebrew calendar, which takes into the account of both the sun and the moon. Each month we have the ability to take control over astrological influences of the month. Kabbalah centers around the world for new moon connections featuring mediation. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so now we're going to get into the Leo side of things because the sun just entered Leo. So Av is one of the three most negative months of the year. The other two are Tevet, Capricorn, because it's ruled by Saturn, which is a planet of harsh judgments, and Tammuz, which is Cancer, because it's ruled by the moon. Av is the sign of Leo. It is ruled by the sun and is the left column of the fire sign. This indicates an added influence of fire, which is expressed as judgments, burning, and consuming fire with no balance. This is the reason we experience a polarity of events, some negative and some positive. The Book of Formation says the letter Tet created Leo and the letter Kaf created the Sun. Together we get the energetic combination of the controls of Av and Leo. At the center of our solar system, the sun brings each of the planets light, heat, and life. Without organic life could not exist. People born in this month are famous or infamous for behaving like the sun. Their trademarks are leadership, determination, domination, and power, and in full force, this combination can lead to the pitfalls of ego and pride. Leos easily fall into perceiving that they are king. The only control we have is self control. Any feelings of ego, pride, and superiority can only prevent us from helping others, and that can never be good. The month of Av is known for the massive occurrences of negativity that have been transpired throughout history during this time. The Spanish Inquisition, the signing of Hitler's final solution, the destruction of the holy temples in Jerusalem all took place in the ninth of Av. The number 9, represented by the Hebrew letter Tet, connects us to Sephiroth Yesod, which manifests all the energy that is gathered from the upper luminous emanations. Jerusalem was and remains the energy center of the world. When the people of Israel, the residents of Jerusalem specifically, chose not to behave with human dignity towards one another, this energy was created and accumulated in Assad. It had to manifest itself, and so did an explosion of negativity on the ninth day of Av in a deadly short circuit. The ninth day of Av is a fasting day, not because the two temples were destroyed, but it is a day that lends itself to calamity. When there is no unity, no minimum of human dignity between people, this negative energy is accumulated and culminates on the ninth of Av. What is the solution? A change of consciousness and behavior. It is a very easy to point fingers and blame others, but it is harder to transform oneself and change one's attitude. Be patient, forgiving, and loving. If each of us could perceive ourselves as though we are ticking time bombs and any self-serving action would trigger the fuse, why would we would be much more careful with our actions and words. The ninth of the Av is a day of destruction, but at the same time, the birth of the Messiah. Where there is greatest darkness, therein also lies the biggest potential to reveal tremendous light. Two very positive events are the 5th of Av, which is the death anniversary of Rab Isaac Luria, the Ari. He chose to leave the world on the 5th day, which represents the luminous emanation of Had, in order to transform Deva, which is the poor and weak, to Had. The death of Ari, which does not represent the actual physical death, provides us with an opening for awesome light that we can connect to by studying his writings on that night. The 15th of Av is the happiest day of year. On this day, both the sun and moon are full. The sun, Zir Apin, the positive pole, represents the male aspect of our universe. The moon, Malkut, the negative pole, represents the female aspect of the universe. When the moon reflects the light of the sun, we receive the power to return light, the strength to give, care, and love unconditionally. This is why our sages stated that there are no happier day in life this year, and this rare cosmic opportunity allows us to find our soulmate. The same way the sun and moon are in harmony on this day, so too can we draw this partnership to our lives. So hopefully on August 1st, I'll find my boo, y'all. It's like, no, I'm just playing, not really. Anyway, so then, of course, we're going to get into my favorite book ever, Metu Netter. And in the Netteroos, we are adjusting to Heru as I look for it. Excuse me, y'all. My pages is falling out. Okay, here we go. We're dealing with Heru, which is Michael, Tippereth, and the Kabbalah or Raphael. In Yoruba, we're dealing with Shango and Jakuta. In Hindu Kush, we're dealing with Bhuvaneshwari, Shivari. So this is the 6th sphere in the tree of life. The sun is the planet. Sunday is the day of the week. The colors are red and white. The number is 6, and the gems are ruby or garnet. All right. The Jewish Kabbalists gave the sphere to Raphael. And Metaphorian Michael will show the latter. So there's a debate between the two. It's whoever. It's whoever you want it to be, because we're here to be anew. So as far as herbalism goes, we're dealing with poplar leaves, coxcomb, geranium, bay leaves, rompe, zeragwe, and vencedor in our baths. As far as oils go, we're dealing with olibanum and geranium. Incense is frankincense. Oh, olibanum is actually frankincense. Okay, cool. Hekals are hrim, which is Hrim. Planetary is Ong, Frong, Pring, Frong, Aung, Hring, Hring, Hraung. The spiritual direction is west, and the mundane direction is northeast. Now, the personality portfolio is through its action on the kabit, which is the animal spirit. The high and dry energy of the sun has the following effects on the personality, which is our sphere 9. Emotional traits that are positive are magnanimous, desires of power and leadership, full of vitality, a strong will, zealous, noble, lofty, proud, authoritative, humane, reserved. Negative traits are arrogant, extravagant, indecisive, overbearing, excessive pride, tyrannical, boastful, egotistical. Mental traits is the will and circumspection as well as insight. I told y'all control y'all simulation. Pay attention. Social correspondences, people in authoritative positions such as the father, mother in a one-parent household, king, prince, leaders, lieutenant, deputy, mayor, governor, boss, supervisor, etc., as well as self-employment. So you'll see a lot of these different positions being in the news, NEWS, as above, so is below, as within, so is without. Spiritual portfolio, the will, men add the determinant of character, crossroads, transitions, changes, transcending the essence of our divinity. Coming back to the term news, right? Excuse me. Spiritual function. The will is the essence of our divinity in the same manner that we help children develop by allowing them freedom to act within a circle of limitations. The Supreme Being develops man's divinity by allowing him a certain amount of freedom within a ring past not. In Genesis, when he created the firmament, after a while he said enough. He created a limitation to the firmament. However, you are a reflection of God. That means that as you expand your mindset and you want more in abundance, when you speak those things, it comes. At some point in time, you have to show yourself discipline. We talked about this when we spoke about Jupiter in the sacral chakra. You go ahead and let that sacral chakra run and run and run and run and run. Then that's when you get with that retribution. We talked about Jupiter being the 3, 6 into the 9. Retribution happens instantaneously with the sacral chakra, whether it be diseases and ailments or different karmic energies that happen. Coming back, the circle that man cannot pass corresponds to sacred structural lines that keep the world and its events in place. Outside of these, man has the freedom to choose what he will. But as we have seen, success depends on law and order. As Tahuti and Mahat correspond to the communication of the divine law to our mind and not its imposition, we have the freedom to follow or ignore it. This freedom of the will to follow or ignore divine law is the basis of our divinity. There is no divinity where there is compulsion. We saw in past chapters that the Men-Ob system of the meditation is the means of liberating and perfecting the use of the will. On our perfection of this system depends on the upliftment of our character and our spiritual growth. The only time that spiritual growth and transcending of our conditionings take place is when we live truth of our free will in crossroads situations. These situations are characterized by 1, the appearance that we will lose a great deal, whether it's real, imagined, or perceived. I talked to y'all about that. Uprooting Oya. Oya is getting rid of all of that shit in that root chakra. You hear me? Which will be opposed to 2, the truth which must be followed, and 3, the intuition of clever and seemingly convincing rationalizations for not following the truth. That's that Neptune and Saturn sitting in your sacral chakra in retrograde. Saturn is sitting in your chakra, in your sacral chakra in retrograde in its home house, the 7th house, the scales of Mayat. So, all of that is happening. All of that is in alignment, reminding you that you are in charge of your simulation. So let me get a timestamp because now we about to get into the actual planetary forecast, which is why a lot of y'all are here. Y'all didn't want to hear anything I just did. So let's talk about it. This is actually the quickest part. Kind of. Sometimes. We'll see. Let me make sure I'm in order here. So I want to start with the 0% waxing crescent moon. That happened on July 17th. Also, during that waxing crescent moon, we were in the 4th house in Cancer with it, creating, nurturing homes and spaces and stuff with the vibes. The moon and Castor were in conjunction, as well as the moon and Pollux were experiencing conjunction and middle angles. So even though we were in the Cancer zodiac energy with it, we were still in the Gemini constellation. So you were in your 3rd eye creating nurturing spaces, and you were invoking those things during this new moon. I hope you guys were in alignment with the energy. The activity of the Perseids began, and they run off at 100 an hour. The max activity is on August 13th. I do hope that I find a way to go camping before this meteor shower is over. Oh my gosh. The sun also entered Cancer constellation on the 17th as well. So while we had the new moon in Cancer, the sun was also in Cancer. And yeah, we are still in that eclipse energy. You'll see the sun and moon slowly start to separate. But right now, look at how close they were in Cancer, living their best life. Oh, we love it here, y'all. Well, you was over there in Gemini, but Cancer was over here. So on the 18th, we still were in the waxing. We were at a 0% waxing crescent moon. So the 17th, we were in waning. So we were still cleaning, but now we're in the process of building. So you get two new moons, one for the cleaning, one for the building. Whichever one comes first depends on how we ended up there to begin with. So we were still in the fourth house with it in Cancer energy. What happened on the 18th was Vesta and Aldebaran were at minimal angle, and Aldebaran is like a fixed star in the Taurus constellation. So it's a fixed star in the fixed energy. So we had Vesta, which is your Vestral fires, your passion, getting fixed in that energy of materialization and attraction. And this is what your heart really wants, right? And then the moon and Persepi were also doing their dance. Persepi is in the Cancer constellation. And this is giving off the energy of the spirit of the ancestors. So a lot of downloads happening here during the foundation of things as we build up, right? The moon and Mercury were also in minimal angle on this day as well, doing their dance together, invoking things for the cornerstone of this moon phase. I hope you guys were invoking stuff for yourself. I definitely was invoking different spaces for myself, different places and different experiences. And you know what's so crazy? It happened so quickly. I love it here. Anyway, July 19th, we had a waxing crescent moon. We were at a 2%. Now we were in Leo zodiac in the fourth house, fourth house being ruled by Leo energy. Pluto was the smallest distance to the earth on this day. So, the transformation energy and all that was going on. That was, far, far away from us. We weren't thinking about it too hard. The moon was doing a dance with Venus and Regulus in the Leo constellation of things. So, again, bringing that vibration and of attraction to your moon, your lunar self, your internal workings, bringing a lot of abundance to the things that's been going on in the inside. Now, if your insides have been on anger and sadness and, just not in alignment with things, then you would have felt an abundance in that. And that sucks. But that's why I keep telling y'all, you're in control of your simulation. If you over here letting other people control your simulation, you are doing yourself a disservice because you ain't come down here for that. The moon made a nice little triangle between Mercury and Venus, giving you the ability to, really manifest and invoke your simulation and vibrate to it too. Not just invoke it into existence. Some of y'all invoke stuff into existence and then don't know how to vibrate to it. So you sit here and build this whole life you want to live and you don't vibrate to it. Meanwhile, Anne, Frank, and John on the other side of the world, they've been vibrating to it. So you just invoke this whole fucking thing for somebody else to live in it. And that's why when you go on social media, you see Anne, Frank, and John living your life. How the fuck is y'all over there living my life? That's exactly what I said I wanted. Yeah, that's what you said you wanted. You brought it into existence and then you didn't vibrate to it. You started telling yourself you didn't deserve it, or that's not a realistic goal, or you started looking for other shit instead because that wasn't happening fast enough. And I speak from experience. I'm not speaking from a place of looking down upon you for being in that space. I've been there. But once you invoke something, vibrate to it. Don't invoke something and then say, oh, well, I don't really deserve it. Let me go do something else that's within my indoctrination because that's easy, or that's the known grounds. And then get mad when you see somebody else vibrate to the shit that you materialized. You literally said they didn't even have to do the work. You did the work for it and they just had to vibrate to it. They just had to know they deserved it. That's another conversation for another day. So on the 20th, we were at a 5% waxing crescent moon. We were in the Leo zodiac energy with it in the fifth house with Leo energy, just straight emotions. So yesterday, if you was in your emotions, if you was in your feelings, if you was in that heart shock, or if you was really tapped into that simulation, you was in alignment. What was I doing yesterday? Yesterday was a really good day. Oh yeah, I know what I was doing yesterday. I had set myself up in the store. I really started vibrating to the shit that I wanted. I wanted to perform at a festival, so now I have an opportunity to perform at a festival. I was able to set myself up at a store, and I went to sleep early, which was not intentional, but that's what happened. You know what? I did speak that into existence though, because last week I kept saying how bad I wanted to take a nap, and then I went to sleep early. Nah. But anyway, the moon and Regulus were hanging out. The moon and Mars was also hanging out. Mars giving you the motivation to your lunar sense. Ceres and Parima were hanging out. We talked about Ceres being all about agriculture and nourishment, and also getting to that energy of reciprocity and bartership happening while Ceres is in Virgo, Leo energy. Bartership is coming into play in our coins. So that's been sitting with Parima. So for those of you guys that really been harvesting how you want to nourish and how you want to nurture and stuff like that, that's coming into fruition with Ceres over there in Virgo. And then Arcturus moves to the west side of the PM sky. So you're going to start to see Arcturus, going to the bottom of the kite, and then eventually it'll start rising up again. So that's what we have for that day. Now we can move on to the next day. Today we started the day off at a 10% waxing crescent moon, the moon rising at 9:16 a.m. and setting at 10:46 p.m. We are in the Virgo zodiac energy with it. So going inward, harvesting, hanging out with the Ceres that's over there in Virgo, putting it towards the 5th house of your attention and dramatic self, listening to this planetary forecast where I have reminded you the whole episode how you were in charge of the simulation and all the world's the stage, and now it's time to get into connection with your inner dramatics and act your ass off, baby. We out here. The sun rising at 5:47 a.m. and setting at 8:23 p.m. The International Space Station is visible from 12:12 a.m. to 12:15 a.m. and then 9:47 p.m. to 9:55 p.m. and then again at 11:24 p.m. to 11:28 p.m. The International Space Station is more so in like I want to say it was like near Virgo constellation on the orbit that it's on now. Aries went in retrograde today. It's going to happen at 8 o'clock this evening. Y'all know Aries is in Aries in our solar plexus. This is the Amazonian woman. She is repeating degrees to make sure y'all heard her the first time when she said, I said y'all better treat these women better. I said y'all better treat these brujas better, these feminine healers better. Y'all better treat this feminine energy better. You're going to see some groundbreaking stories happening with feminine energies in these Black Mirrors that we be watching, these organized that we be watching as Aries, repeats some degrees. July 22nd, we're starting the day off at a 17% waxing crescent moon. The moon rising at 10:16 a.m. will be setting at 11:06 p.m. We are still in the Virgo zodiac in the 5th house with the Virgo energy over the 5th house. The sun rising at 5:48 a.m. and setting at 8:22 p.m. Pluto will be opposite the sun at 6:15 a.m. This will be the best visibility of the year. The International Space Station is going from 8:58 p.m. to 9:07 p.m. and then again at 10:35 p.m. to 10:41 p.m. The summer star begins rising in the eastern sky. Vega, Deneb, and Altair, that's the summer triangle. Vega is the star that comes above. We love Vega as she brings on the energy of the riches. By the time August comes, we're going to have the whole Lyra constellation in the skies enchanting the stones and the flora and the fauna and all that fun stuff. For those of you guys who don't know, Lyra is the musical instrument that Morpheus, the god of dreams, was utilizing to enchant people, places, and things of that nature. So Vega is the star of riches for those people coming from those artistic realms of music. So, some great albums come out this time of year. The sun also enters Leo zodiac tomorrow at 9:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, this will be our last day of being locked into Cancer on the tropical and Vedic calendar. So enjoy these last few, hours. We got about 24, was it about to be 7 o'clock? So we got about 26 hours left of the sun being in Cancer on the tropical and Vedic chart. July 23rd, we start off the day off with a 25% waxing crescent moon. The moon rising at 11:16 a.m. and setting at 11:26 p.m. We are in the Virgo zodiac energy. Now we're in the 6th house with Luna. We're applying what we get to our daily routine, our health and wellness, paying attention to that realms. On Sunday, the sun rising at 5:49 a.m. and setting at 8:21 p.m. The International Space Station is visible from 12:12 a.m. to 12:14 a.m. Then 9:47 p.m. to 9:54 p.m. and then again from 11:24 p.m. to 11:27 p.m. The moon in Parima will be at minimal angle at 11:15 p.m. The moon will be 2 degrees south-southwest, conjunction at 1:14 a.m. with the moon being 2.2 degrees south, and we'll be able to observe that at 10:55 p.m. with a 2 degrees south-southwest separation. Parima is the star in the Virgo constellation, so we're going to be in the Virgo zodiac and constellation. Parima is the star of prophecy. So you get some downloads, into your lunar, meditation is essential here on Sunday. Chiron also goes in retrograde on Sunday at 8:44 a.m. Chiron, we talked about Chiron being in Aries as well, with Aries. So Chiron will also be repeating degrees, making sure that some of the wounds that you said you was over that don't bother you no more, don't bother you when I lick my finger and I touch that scab. You hear me? So these are not traumatic events that are happening to you. Your life's not falling apart. These are exercises that are happening for you to make sure that you're over those wounds. Now, what I start off on July 20th, I said, I'm mixing up my papers. I did the 23rd, right, Chiron? So on the 24th, we're at a 33% waxing crescent moon. The moon rising at 12:16 p.m. and setting at 11:47 p.m. We're in the Libra zodiac energy with this. So now we're finding balance in our Ova scales, and we're applying that to our daily routine with the 6th house and Libra over the 6th house. The sun rising at 5:50 a.m. and setting at 8:21 p.m. The International Space Station will be visible from 8:58 p.m. to 9:07 p.m. Then again at 10:35 p.m. to 10:41 p.m. Moon and Spica will also be in conjunction. So the moon is still in Virgo constellation. So moon and Spica will be in conjunction at 1:10 a.m. The moon will be 1.9 degrees north. Minimal angle at 2:19 a.m. The moon will be 1.7 degrees northeast. And we'll be able to observe that at 11:09 p.m. with a 2.4 degree northeast separation. Spica is actually the brightest star in the Virgo constellation. This is the energy of success, riches, and the love of art. This goes off the energy of Venus and Mars. I call it the Pinky's Up star. I love Spica. July 25th, that's my baby birthday. We're starting the day off at a 43% waxing crescent moon. The moon rising at 1:19 p.m. There's no set time for setting. The moon is in Libra zodiac energy, still here, creating balance and justice and harmony in our health, wellness, and daily routine. That's still in Libra energy. The sun rising at 5:51 a.m. and setting at 8:20 p.m. The International Space Station is visible from 12:12 a.m. to 12:13 a.m. Then again at 9:47 p.m. to 9:54 p.m. Then again from 11:23 p.m. to 11:27 p.m. And then the moon is going to be in descending node at 11:05 a.m. So you'll see the moon start coming closer and closer. So this full moon that we get is going to be big and pretty, y'all. The first quarter moon is at 6:07 a.m. So now we're at like the point between waxing crescent and waxing gibbous. So the waxing crescent was all about building up the intangible things, right? So now we're about to go into the waxing gibbous, where we're in the space of building up the tangible, the physical stuff now. Mercury will also enter Leo constellation on this day. So now we have Mercury in the Leo zodiac as well as constellation at 8:50 a.m. That's happening on the 25th. So that's cool. Your decision making mind's going into that space of courageousness. And hopefully y'all really take control of y'all simulations by July 25th. That's 725. That balance beam in between the spiritual and the physical. 725. I love it here. And then that's also a 777 day as well. So that's a cool day for Mercury to enter Leo. 777. That adds up to 21, back into the 3 creation. July 26th, we're starting the day off at 53% waxing gibbous moon. The moon rising at 2:25 and setting at 12:10 a.m. We are in the Scorpio zodiac energy with this. So we're creating transformation. Whatever you did on the 25th, we're transforming it on the 26th. Be in the 7th house with it. So we're applying that to the Libra scales. How was the reciprocity going for you? Some of these Libra scales got to get destroyed if they're not balancing right. The sun rising at 5:52 a.m. and setting at 8:19 p.m. The equation of time, which is the sundial minus the watch time, is going to reach an extreme at negative 6 minutes 33 seconds. And for that reason, the sun's transit is going to be the latest this year at 1:06 p.m. Mercury and Venus will also be in conjunction at 8:35 a.m. Mercury will be 5.3 degrees north. International Space Station will be visible from 8:58 p.m. to 9:07 p.m. and then again from 10:35 p.m. to 10:40 p.m. And then the moon in Zubin Al Janubi will have minimal angle at 3:29 p.m. The moon will be 2.2 degrees south southwest, conjunction at 6:35 p.m. with the moon being 2.6 degrees south, and we'll be able to observe that at 9:09 p.m. with a 3.7 degrees south southeast separation. And for those of you guys who do not know, Zubin Al Janubi is a star in the Libra constellation. So even though we're going to be in the Scorpio zodiac, will still be in the Libra constellation with it. And this star gives off the energy of like redemption, retribution. It's located in the southern scale of the Libra constellation, also considered the southern claw of the Scorpio constellation. As you know, once upon a time, everything used to be Virgo at some point, and then when we started having the four main, zodiacs, and then eventually Virgo split off into Libra and Scorpio. And that's why they say Virgo is essentially all the zodiacs, as Virgo, when you get in, if you look at Virgo like a clock, Virgo actually has all the zodiacs and seasons within it. And that's why that's the energy of the overthinker and health and daily shit and wellness and all that stuff, because it has all of that, within it. Now, July 27th, we start off the day at a 64% waxing gibbous moon. The moon rising at 3:35 p.m. and setting at 12:38 a.m. We're in the Scorpio zodiac energy with it, still in that space of transformation in the seventh house. So we're providing transformation to those Libra scales with the Scorpio energy over the scales. The sun rising at 5:52 a.m. and setting at 8:18 p.m. The west side of the moon, which is crater Grimaldi, is tipped into view. This happens at 5:36 a.m. The Mercury and Venus will be at minimal angle at 7:17 a.m. Mercury will be 5.1 degrees north-northeast, and no, this will not be visible. And then the International Space Station is visible from 9:46 p.m. to 9:53 p.m. and then again at 11:24 to 11:26. July 28th will be at a 75% waxing gibbous moon, the moon rising at 4:48 p.m. and setting at 1:12 a.m. This is now in the Sagittarius zodiac energy, and we're in the seventh house with the scales with the Sagittarian energy, coming down to our sacral chakra with it, finding balance in those realms, and harmony in the realms of the sacral chakra and knowledge and sages and all that fun stuff. The sun rising at 5:53 a.m. will be setting at 8:17 p.m. Now, the moon and Dashuba as well as Graphius are going to do their dance on this day, being in conjunction at minimal angle between 3 a.m. and like 5 a.m. The moon will be going between Dashuba and Graphius, and we'll be able to observe this at 12:44 a.m. between moon and Dashuba and at 12:52 a.m. between the moon and Graphius. And these are the stars in the Scorpius constellation. Now, these are the harsh stars in the Scorpius constellation. They give off the energy of Mars and Saturn. All right, so you want to be careful around these stars. They don't play about the retribution. Be mindful of your energy and your mindset when you're around these stars, as they are very much internal energies. Water being the energy of the internal and stuff like that. The Pisces Austronauts reached the max activity today at 5 an hour. Mercury and Regulus are at minimal angle at 7:51 p.m. Mercury will be 0.1 degrees south-southwest, conjunction at 8:43 p.m. Mercury will be 0.1 degrees south, and no, this will not be visible. Regulus is the star in Leo. That's the fixed star of Leo, giving off the energy of riches. It's actually 4 stars in 2 pairs. So it's like a binary star. And this gives off the energy of glory, riches, power. It's a royal star. And that's going to your Mercury, your invocation. So July 28th is a beautiful day to invoke whatever it is that you want in the realms of riches. The moon in Aries will be at minimal angle at 1:07 p.m. The moon will be 1 degree north-northeast, conjunction at 12:41 p.m. The moon will be 1 degree north, and we'll be able to observe that at 8:57 p.m. with a 4.2 degrees east separation. So, we're going to get like all of the Mars and Saturn stars with Scorpius, and then we're going to move into the Mars and Jupiter star by the afternoon. So if you one of the people that be up early in the morning, you're going to be angry, and eventually the anger is going to get softer, but it's still going to be anger, because Aries is the star of Mars and Jupiter. So we softened up from Saturn and Jupiter. The International Space Station is visible from 8:58 to 9:06 p.m. and then again from 10:35 p.m. to 10:39 p.m. Ceres and Parima are at minimal angle at 12:52 a.m. Ceres will be 4.5 degrees north-northeast. We'll be able to observe that at 10:42 p.m. with a 4.5 degree north-northeast separation. Parima being that star in the Virgo constellation, being that energy of prophecy. So prophecy is happening to what it is that you've been nurturing and harvesting and nourishing with that Ceres energy. The Delta Aquarius meteor shower peaks from 7:28 to 7:29, and they move at about 20 an hour. So you'll be able to check that out in the Aquarius constellation. July Draconis meteor shower peaks on this day as well. Hold on one second.
Hey. Oh, hey, I'm here to get Summer and off the office. I don't know if my mom called and let y'all know it's Zeke. All right. Z, can you get the twins? Miss Tamika wants y'all. She outside.
All right, so July Draconis meteor shower peaks on this day too. That's coming from the Draconis constellation. Mercury enters the Virgo zodiac at 5:30 p.m. on this day as well. So Mercury is doing the most in these next couple of days. On July 29th, we start the day off with an 84% waxing gibbous moon. The moon rising at 5:59 p.m. and setting at 1:56 a.m. We're in the Sagittarius zodiac energy with it. So in our sacral chakra with the lunar energy, creating transformation in that realm. The sun rising at 5:54 a.m. and will be setting at 8:16 p.m. On July 30th, we start the day off at a 90% waxing gibbous moon. The moon rising at 7:05 p.m. and setting at 2:52 a.m. We are in the Capricorn zodiac energy with it in the 9th house of intellect as well as joy and expression. So now we're bringing structure to our sacral chakra energy. The sun rising at 5:55 a.m. and then setting at 8:15 p.m. The a.m. visibility of the moon begins. My dog sounds like he eats people. No, he's I got a blue nose. The AM visibility of the moon begins. The moon and cause borealis are in conjunction on this day at 10:32 a.m. The moon is 2.7 degrees south, minimal angle at 10:35 a.m. The moon is 2.7 degrees south, and we'll be able to observe that at 2:35 a.m. with a 6.3 degree west-southwest separation. Now, cause borealis is the star in the Sagittarius constellation. So even though we're in the Capricorn zodiac, we're still in the Sagittarius constellation. This gives off the energy of Jupiter and Mars, which is ambition, pride, power. This is a good space for business as well. So, invoke the things that you want to see in the business space of things on the 30th. The max declination of the moon is at 7:10 a.m. Delta Aquarius reach max activity, which is 16 an hour. The Alpha Capricornus also reach max activity at 5 an hour. So the July 30th is also a really good day for meteor showers, especially with the Perseus still going at 100 an hour. The evening visibility of the comet Lemon Seed 2021 T4 begins. The evening visibility of Saturn begins, and the evening visibility of Aquarius begins. So those like wintertime constellations will start revealing themselves to us during this time as well. Because as you'll notice, like time is so weird. The time that we keep using in our fixated calendar in comparison to what's going on in the cosmos, and then the seasons and stuff is different. Put him on the door before y'all go outside, so he don't be trying to run out the door. July 31st, we start off the day at a 97% waxing gibbous moon. The moon rising at 8 and setting at 4:01 a.m. We're still in the Capricorn zodiac energy with it in the 9th house, so we're still applying that to the sacral chakra. The sun rising at 5:56 a.m. and setting at 8:14 p.m. The moon in Albaldo will be in conjunction at 2:12 a.m. The moon will be 7.2 degrees south. Now, Albaldo is a star in the Sagittarius constellation. This is located at the back of the head of the archer. Now we're dealing with the harvest and the gains and things. The comet Lemon Seed 2021 T4 at 8:50 a.m. will be the smallest distance to the sun. So getting downloads of that celestial energy will be in our third eyes and how we refract light and stuff like that. A lot of energy from the ancients. So you'll probably catch like archaeologists or somebody like digging up some ancient information and bringing it like this profound. For those of you guys who have been doing your downloads, it probably won't be that profound to you. But that's going to be on July 31st. Deneb will be opposite the sun at 10:14 a.m. This is the best visibility of the year. The North Pole of the moon is tipped into view, and then Moon and Pluto have minimal angle at 8:21 p.m. The moon will be 3.2 degrees south, conjunction at 7:42 p.m. The moon will be 3.2 degrees south, and we'll be able to observe that at 10:11 p.m. with a 3.3 degrees south-southeast separation. Now, August 1st, now we have reached the 100% wax and gibbous moon. We made it, y'all. These are long. These are getting longer and longer. Um, so these are all my nice visuals that are leading up to the 30th. The Earth shine, Pluto at opposition, the summer triangle rising up in the sky. Look at Vega up there in Libra looking all pretty and shit. The Vega star, this is the triangle up here. If you on China, it looks real nice. NASA makes the best AI photos ever. The half moon is Spica living their best life, and they see how big Virgo is. Like, jeez, all the seasons are literally in here. The first quarter moon on our Christmas in July. The inner planets hanging out. You can make this triangle any way you want to make this triangle for my spellcasters out there. The moon near Scorpius claws, and this is where you can see the claws versus the Libra scales, how they come in together. All right. And then you see Virgo foot over there. Mercury and Regulus hanging out together. And then you can also make a very skinny isosceles triangle here from my spellcasters. You want to push that bounds. Why not? And then here we are. We made it. Oh yeah, this is the meteor shower where it's coming from. And then the comet that we're experiencing. All right. So August 1st, we are at a 100% waxing gibbous moon. So we're still in that moon of building up. Okay. Have I ever had any dreams of being in outer space? Ooh, that's a good question. I used to. I started writing the science fiction book when I was having these heavy dreams about being in outer space. That's when I lived in Virginia. And then I stopped writing on the book, and then I stopped having those kind of dreams. Lately my dreams have been on like dome hopping, so it doesn't, maybe that is interstellar traveling, but it hasn't really been on like as like definitive as like I'm in outer space. It hasn't been like that. But yeah, August 1st, we're in the 100% waxing gibbous moon. The moon rising at 8:44 p.m. and setting at 5:28. And we are in the Capricorn zodiac energy with this. So this is the moon of like stabilizing and authority and just like solidifying things. And this is called the sturgeon moon. Because around this time is when the sturgeon fish are in abundance in America. We're in the 10th house with this moon. So like being able to manifest, I really want y'all to like really tap into your Babylao placements, your Saturn placements, your Capricorn placements and Aquarius placements, because that's what's going to help you come this full moon. It's really nice that I've been doing this like community building thing, and right now I have them working on the root chakra of things. And yeah, so by the time you get to the full moon, like I want y'all to be rooted how y'all want to be rooted for the rest of this year, because it matters. And I ain't talking about like the economic year, because our New Year's isn't until Aries. So what you make of it right now is what it's going to be. Do you be having dreams of being in outer space? Like, do you have those often? The full moon will be rising at 2:32 p.m. This is when Earth is between the moon and sun, is visible all night, especially large. It's also called the lynx moon, the dispute moon, and the lightning moon. Now, on August 2nd, we're at the 100% waning gibbous moon. So now you're going to start seeing the moon kind of like disappear or whatever. Oh, I didn't even see you up here. So basically, germinate the seed. Basically, yeah, on August 1st. Oh, yeah, and I know you're very ritual. So, like, yeah, that's a good day to. Oh, and that's dope that that's your dad's birthday on that full moon, because, Capricorn is the energy of the father. So, yeah, that's a good time to do your channeling and everything you're going to do, give your homage and stuff. That's beautiful. I'm happy for you. Ooh. But yeah, we're in the 100% wine and gibbous moon. The moon rising at 9:20 p.m. and setting at 6:42 a.m. We're in the Aquarius zodiac energy with it. So, we're still in the root chakra of the vibes, this time in the space of detachment and awareness, right? So you built the structure. Now you're going to see how the structure plays out, and it's going to open your eyes and help you realize, okay? Um, the sun rising at 5:58 a.m. will be setting at 8:12 p.m. Moon will be the smallest distance to the Earth. So this is going to be a really big full moon, y'all. It's going to be very big and pretty. The moon and Deneb al-Jaldi will be in conjunction at 12:47 p.m. The moon will be 2.4 degrees south, minimum angle at 1:34 p.m. The moon will be 2.2 degrees south-southeast, and we'll be able to observe that at 9:34 p.m. with a 6.1 degree east separation. So Deneb al-Jaldi is in the Capricorn, constellation. This is located at the tail of the goat, and this gives off the energy of Saturn and Jupiter being dignified and conservative. This also deals with like the blood vessels and nerve connections and things like that. So if you need to, work on any level of that realm with yourself, this is a good time to do it with this moon as well. What color is the star? I want to say the star is an orange star, so we might have a big orangey moon. The Capricornus will be opposite the sun at 10:16 a.m. This will be the best visibility of the year, so you'll be able to see that constellation really nice. I ask, oh, I ask a lot of people if they have outer space dreams, and I only found like one or two other people. Yeah, I used to have them a lot. When I was writing this book, and I want to put the book out this year because I'm about to go into my 33rd year, so I think it would be really dope to put this book out for my birthday for myself. So like, yeah, I'm gonna put it out there and see if the dreams come back to me how they used to be. But lately, my dreams have been on just things that I want to invoke. It's really been towards like the village building and stuff like that. I ain't gonna hold you. Like that's where a lot of my stuff been. Like, in a lot of my dreams, I'm waking up and I'm going about my day. So it's a lot of six house dreams that's been happening around me lately. Yeah, it's been years since I had outer space dreams. I want to say my outer space dreams probably were coming to me heavily when Neptune first entered Pisces in 2012. That's probably when like my outer space dreams like was like I was really in that cardinal energy of Neptune and Pisces. Now that we have another cardinal energy of Neptune and Pisces on the Vedic chart happening, I'm hoping they come back because they were really dope dreams to have. The way they expounded was great. But yeah, like I said, a lot of my dreams are six house dreams right now, where there's six house dreams of how I used to wake up, like, prior to the world as we know it, or they were six house dreams of how I would like to wake up in the future. But yeah, that's how they've been lately. It's just been a lot of like, daily routine, health and wellness type things going on. I'm glad I stopped dying. I was getting assassinated a lot in my dreams at some point. It was like in between the dreams, the space dreams, and I don't know, for some reason I'm always on this podium and I'm speaking and I get shot. It's kind of like the Malcolm X scene that kept happening in my dreams because my kids were there, my kid's dad was there, everybody was there, and I die in front of everybody as well. But I don't know. I would like to think that was like some type of ego death type thing happening at that period of time. I don't know. That was during a lot of transformations, and I was walking into my Saturn return, so I like to chalk it up to that. But on August 3rd, this is the last day we're gonna go over, y'all, and I'm gonna let y'all go. But August 3rd, we started the day off at a 97% wanting gibbous moon. So in this moon phase, now we're starting to get rid of the tangible items in our space that no longer serve us. All right. So we had a whole cycle, building ourselves up in the waxing with the non-physical and the physical. And we got to really see, especially with the full moon being in Capricorn and Aquarius, really got to have that level of awareness of how well the structure has been serving us or not serving us. So now as we go into the wanting, which is the realms of cleansing, we're going to start off with our cleansing in the tangibles. What out here is not serving us. When we clean up, it's time to clean up some mail that you got piling up, different, services and products and things in your space that's not serving you, all that fun stuff. it's going to come from your space of awareness, because this moon is going to be in Aquarius in the 11th house, being ruled by Pisces. So it's like the manipulations that is happening in your realm is going to get uncovered, and right after the full moon goes. The sun rising at 5:59 a.m. and setting at 8:11 p.m. The activity of the Capit Cygnids begin, and their maximum activity is 8:18 at 3 an hour. And then the moon and Saturn will be at minimal angle at 9:39 a.m. The moon will be 2.5 degrees south southeast. Conjunction is going to occur at 7:44 a.m. The moon will be 2.8 degrees south, and we'll be able to observe that at 5:19 a.m. with a 3.8 degrees south southwest separation. So, the full moon got like that root chakra structure to it, and that's cool. Same with flying dreams. I used to have them more, but not in a while. I noticed in the flying dreams, my flight was controlled by my stomach. I think the solar plexus is key to activate. You know what? I believe that. And let me tell you why. So I started reading stuff about salt. I started reading about salt because, in a lot of the films that we watch, salt was always used as a tool to combat against any type of witchcraft, whether it was good or bad. Like the wall was always created with salt, right? So I have been doing, I started attracting videos around salt. Came into like the jump in the broom concept, like the concept that witches be like flying on the broomsticks was when they used to jump the brooms, trying to manifest how high they wanted their wheat to grow, how high they wanted their crops to grow, or whatever. The higher you were able to jump, the higher your crops would go. And what had happened was it was salt. People used to give each other salt to prevent each other from jumping high. Like you couldn't jump as high as everybody else if you had salt in your body. And then when you think about it, everything that we have in our diets, and it's not even just our diets, it's the shit we put on our skin now. So you want to exfoliate yourself, you're exfoliating yourself with fucking salt now. So you don't even give you like your new cells a chance. You are scraping off the old cells and opening up the new cells to salt. We got salt in the air now. You got salt in all the food that you put in your body. It's the salt. And the solar plexus chakra deals with like digestion and your gut and stuff like that too. So like, just camel walking with you, I think it's the salt that we put in. And then I was talking about that when we talked about the sacral chakra too. Be careful with your addictions and the things that you find joy and pleasure stuff in this life, because retribution comes instantaneously. When you get into the numerology of Jupiter is adds up to 36, 3 and 6. That is very uncontrollable energy. Those energies need twos and fours around them. They could be over creative, overdoing it, overwhelming, falling into spaces of addiction. And if you learn the story of Obatala or even Jupiter, they were drunks and they were sex addicts. Okay. So then, you get all the retribution. 3 and 6 comes together and makes 9. 9 is Saturn. That's the retribution, the challenges that come into your life that help you create discipline and order. So, all that to say, be careful with your salt intake, y'all. It's probably why we can't fly. It's a strong message, having dreams of being a sis. Yeah. No, you're fine. You're fine. I'm done now. I'm done with the planetary forecast now. I did all the planets and stuff. Thank you for your questions and your feedback. For those of you guys on Instagram as well as YouTube and Facebook and Twitter. Y'all dope. Just giving y'all some updates on what I got going on. August 26, 2023, I'll be in Willingboro, New Jersey with the third annual Cosmic Nobody's Convention. We are aligning with Virgo Version Talk this year, which podcast will be hosting their series finale. The question is historic leaders of today. Who is a leader? What are historic leaders today? What makes a leader? How have we supported or failed our leaders? And how can we support them today? Which I think is really dope questions to ask. We still have slots open for the panelists for this topic. We have the flatter battle. We're trying to bring in a battle of the beats coming. So all my DJs, engineers, producers out there, if y'all interested in winning a battle belt for the battle of the beats, reach out. And of course, we have the Cosmic Nobody's Awards right now. We are in voting phase. So, get with me so you can get the link so you can vote for people. I think I got some nominations up there myself. And then we have Virgo Version Talk. We're dealing with our Sankofa season, which is like a 2.5, season 2.5, where we go back and we take episodes from season 1 and season 2, and we're camel walking with them. We're expounding with them with new sets of eyes and knowledge that we have. This next episode is going to be on Oh, this is backward. Oh, okay. It's behind. It's behind. This is an older joint. So the next episode that we have is the plague on all your houses. So I hope to catch you guys there on Virgo Virgin Talk on Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be talking about the lunar mansions, the houses. What are they? Where they came from? What we doing with them? Bah, 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 bah. And then if you guys want any one-on-one readings, I'm an energy awareness coach as well as a spiritual DNA decoder. I can help you through your tropical, Vedic, draconic charts, your astrocartography, any type of ailments you be dealing with. We can look into the stars for them. I also do numerology and gematria charts. I can do this one-on-one for couples, parents, families, groups. If you're trying to create an organization and you want to get together a board and you want to complement the energies, all of that fun stuff. There's so many different ways you can use what I do. And, Cosmic Nobody's University is happening in the fall. I just put it up there for kicks and giggles. But that's where we're at. Thank y'all for tapping in, y'all. I appreciate y'all. So now, I guess I'll play some music for y'all. See y'all out on some music. Peace, y'all.
I just wanna chill around positive vibes. Nothing negative, it will fuck up my vibe and blowing my heart. I just wanna sit back and chill and just sip wine. I came from a dark place, now I'm living that life.
I am intentional, I am abundant. I bring to existence all that I want, and I done tapped into the God in me. Cut my locks off and switched up the vibe in me. Like how I manifest within, how I choose to defend. Who I label my friends, how I make amends. Cause I'm choosing laughter, it's peace that I'm after. I abracadabra, then poof, chakras blast off. My soul take this cast off, projection surpass all. Obsidian protection in case this trip lasts long. I see with 3 eyes, that's why my crown headstrong. Corona is viral to spirits living dead wrong
I just
vibration.
wanna chill around positive